Good morning, everybody. How you doing? It is the 20th of November. That means one more month of being in this echo chamber of a room. One more month of dogs barking all the damn time. People don't know how to sleep in on a Saturday. Anyway, what's up, everybody? How you doing? My name is Coach Renz. Well, my name is Lorenzo, but the show is Coach Renz. But welcome to the show. Chuck Norris is already on the show. Appreciate you, Chuck Norris, already here. Welcome to Deconstructing Christianity. I am your host, Coach Renz, and today we're going to have a conversation about which makes the world better, Hermeticism or Christianity. I like to have these thought experiments where I contemplate history. And what if the world followed Hermeticism instead of Christianity? I know Hermeticism is not as much of a religion, it's more of a philosophy. It does have that one part about it that would make it more religified. It does have a deity, but the understanding of that deity is quite different. So we're going to go through this thought experiment today. But before we get started, let's check a few things off the list here. On December 14th, we're going to have, I'm doing a webinar. Webinars on nine businesses you need to start in 2026. Now, if you took my webinar called Financial Freedom, this is definitely a second to that. This is like the next class, because within that conversation that we had in Financial Freedom, we talked about the fact of gaining short-term ROI on your investments. So when you take that 10% of your income and you invest them into short-term ROIs, this is what I'm talking about. Long-term or ROIs, which is return on investment, are you putting into your retirement fund, a long-term stock buys. Short-term ROIs is to recognize where the marketplace is, recognize where the attention is, understand how to get into something early, and then put forth the energy, the discipline to get it done, and then get you a more immediate return with a couple of months return, the next day return. However, there are many different ways that you can gain returns, and then allow that cycle to continue to repeat itself, either until it takes over from your salary, or it is then divvied up in certain portions to create a larger retirement for you. So those nine things you can do, 9 businesses you should do in 2026, is like the continuation of that part of the conversation from my Financially on Fire personal finance seminar that I did a few months back. So if you took that class, you definitely want to take this, because now you will understand even in greater detail than what I explained in Financially on Fire, as far as how to set yourself up for a more easier life, happier life, and a better retirement. And one of the things I did talk about in that was the fact that, it's just a truth that we live in a society where it costs to live. Unfortunately, you want the better food, it costs. You want the better water, it costs. You want the better medical treatments, it costs. It's just a simple fact of life, unfortunately. But we are not makers of the game, but we can become all-stars of the game. So definitely February 14th, go to this video in the description. There is the link for the Eventbrite. Sign up, get your life right. Right now, also got to get through all the stuff. The next year, October 31st, we had a great meetup here in San Antonio. October 31st of this year, had an incredible time. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Everybody who was here, I've gotten great reviews from everybody. Talked to each one of them. It was great. We're doing a cruise next year, October 31st, leaving out of New Orleans on the Carnival Ship Valor. We're doing a cruise going to Chichen Itza. We're going to do the tour to Cenote and Chichen Itza on my Facebook page. And I think it might be on YouTube as well. There's all the information. It's a featured comment, featured event on the event page. If you need a cabin mate, start putting it out there on there that you need a cabin mate. It's double occupancy. We're going to take this cruise October 31st, 2026. Of course, we had our prediction that the Great War going to start in 2026. So hopefully it'll start after October, after November, so we can make sure we get this cruise in. So yeah, we're going to be doing that. So I look forward to the people who join us on that cruise. It's going to be we're going to have some fun. There will be the days at sea. We will have some talks where we gather and talk. But these meetups are mainly just us getting together, enjoying each other, building our tribe, and then of course the Chichen Itza Cenote is going to be an opportunity for us to go to one of the great pyramids that was built, in Mexico on the Yucatan Peninsula. To go to that whole, the space is huge. You won't, so it's going to give us that opportunity to see some history, the history that we talk about on here. So I look forward to those who will be joining us on that cruise. Look, the cabins have been filling up pretty quick. So I would implore you to go to Carnival's page. There's no booking number. I did not block anything. So it's get in where you fit in. Put your $100 down and get on the payment plan. It's the best I can tell you. But I know me and my wife are already booked. I know there's several other people who have contacted me who are already booked. So we're going to have a great time. Going to have a great time. So let's see. Is there any other business we need to handle? Oh, let me thank everybody who supports the channel by being a subscription holder, a member, and a super fan. Of course, you guys get extra videos that I don't publish for anyone else. They only get published just for you guys. That's my thank you for supporting the channel by being a subscription holder or a member. So I thank you for that. Just for clarification, on YouTube, the members, only the master level members get the video. The apprentice level, no. So it's the $5.99 deal, I think, something like that. But hey, like I said yesterday, if $5.99 is a problem in your budget, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it at all. So, and then everybody who subscribes to the channel, shares the videos, likes and comments, thank you very, very much. It is all with my gratitude that you guys are supportive that way, and I appreciate it. I truly, truly appreciate it. So let's get to the subject matter here. Which makes a better world, Hermeticism or Christianity? Now, I know for many of you, you're going to already say that Christianity does not. It's going to be on the losing end. But let's take a journey through Hermeticism and so that we fully understand it, and then we can do the comparison. All right. John, so Hermeticism have a branding problem these days. It sounds too much like Hermit and Herpes. Yeah, Hermit and Herpes. What up, John? Ain't seen you in a while. And if Facebook failed towards the end of the podcast yesterday, for some reason, I don't know why Facebook failed off of StreamYard. If it ever does that, I will then go and put a link to the YouTube page, on that Facebook, on the Facebook page. So if you saw that yesterday, that's what happened. And then I just put the link to the Facebook page. I mean, the YouTube page. So anytime Facebook fails, because for some reason, StreamYard will every now and then have a problem with Facebook. Now, on to the subject matter at hand. In order to be able to do a fair comparison, you have to be able to know what Hermeticism is. Now, of course, one of the cheat notes, if you want to get a quick understanding of Hermeticism, a quick detail, I should say, version of Hermeticism, I would suggest that you read the Kybalion. That's the Kybalion, Kyballon, Kybalion, right? Kyballon. Now, I'm going to put this up so that you guys can see it on here. Sorry, I don't have it on. Just realized I don't have it on TikTok. So the Kybalion is the book that I would recommend that you would use. Yep, that's what happened. So there are 7 Hermetic principles. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Hopefully you can see it well. That didn't make a difference. Is there a way to make it even fuller screen? I don't care about me being on here. All right. So we're just going to go with what we got. How well can you guys see that? Can you tell that the first of the 7 Hermetic principles says the principle of mentalism? Put a 1 in the comment or say yes. You know, if you can see that pretty well on Facebook and YouTube. Unfortunately, I don't have a Kabbalion on here. I didn't. Okay, good. Everybody can see it. All right. So the 7 Hermetic principles, most these things, the Kabbalion is not the author of it. These are 3 witnesses, unknown writers who are basically doing a short breakdown of the Corpus Hermeticum. The Corpus Hermeticum, it was a Greek treatise that was put together, reinvigorated in around the 1500s, right before the Renaissance era began. So around the 1400s. People like Cosimo Medici sent out scribes to go and recapture this information. It was the Hermetic principles of the Corpus Hermeticum that was a major player in instituting the Renaissance that brought Europe out of the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages were a time frame where the church had shut down any type of mental growth and scientific growth in order to maintain control over the people. So the Corpus Hermeticum brought about the Renaissance. It was one of the main things that brought about the Renaissance. This was what Cosimo Medici did was, and others, the sons of Mithra, they went out and had they collected all this knowledge. They went and collected a lot of the ancient Greek knowledge. They went and collected the ancient Mesopotamian knowledge, the ancient Egyptian knowledge. They went seeking all the ancient knowledge that predated Christianity, predated Judaism. And what they wind up coming up with is the Corpus Hermeticum. The most major player within that information were the 7 Hermetic principles, that most of it derives from the Egyptian teachings of Thoth, right? Or Tahuti, whichever name you want to go by. Tahuti is the Egyptian name, and Thoth is the Greek name. So this information, and there was some Eastern information as well that was brought into the Corpus Hermeticum. But out of this, the 7 Hermetic principles seem to be something that was universal to ancient cultures. These ideas were universal. And so what happened is, out of this, people began to elevate their consciousness, elevate their mind, change their thinking on how the universe worked, change their behavior and how they moved on a daily basis. It was a major journey of the mind in this 1400s to 1500s time frame, right? And so when we go back further than that, we can see elements of these Hermetic principles within every religion. But this became more of a secret conversation amongst those who, not just rich. People like to automatically go to the rich, but you had to demonstrate that you were worthy of this information. You had to be a seeker of this information. But this information, and many people like to just stick with Tahuti, like a lot of Black people like to say, oh, it's all Egypt, as if Egypt is all of Africa. This type of thinking goes beyond Egypt. It goes beyond Tahuti. It goes beyond any of that, the racial bullshit that we get focused on today. You cannot claim that you are a follower of the Hermetics if you are still see the world in race. If you do, then you're not there. You don't understand the 7 Hermetic principles. So we're going to go through these 7 Hermetic principles and see how they stack up, right? But just like anything else, somebody can take anything and make it be something that it's not. or have their own modern day interpretations based on what their culture is that they live in. This is all information, no matter which way it goes. Whatever your leanings is how you will push this information. And I am not, I agree. I'm going to go ahead and say that I agree with the overwhelming majority of things in the Hermetic principles. There are a few things here and there that I do not agree with. So you may find that to be true yourself for your own self. So the Hermetic principles have been around for as long as we can count time, as long as we have history. There have been some level of the Hermetic principles. The first Hermetic principle being the all is mental, the universe is mental, the principle of mentalism, that there is nothing outside of the mental creation of the all. I told you it had a God in it, and the God is within the law of mentalism. But this God is very different. According to the Hermetics, everything exists. Everything that you see now exists inside of the mind of the all. That everything is just a thought of the all. And the all is just that, the all. It is all encompassing. It is all knowing. It is, it can never be added to. It can never be separated from. It is not all good. It is not all evil. It is all. There is so in the concept of mentalism, there is no God, or there's no good God and evil devil. It is all within the mind of the all. The all is both the God and the devil. But the all does not create because it desires us to be in heaven. It doesn't punish because it desires for you, those who were disobedient, go to hell, because the all doesn't have a desire for you to worship it. It just exists. It just created because it can, and it doesn't have the jealous. There is no involvement that the all has in your life, the existence of humans. We're specks within the spectrum of the mind. So the all is just mind that exists. I had asked you guys a while back, a couple weeks ago, to look up the information about a Bozeman mind. A Bozeman mind is basically a mind that when enough energy and consciousness is in the universe, a mind just appears. But when that mind appears, it appears with already having a history, right? A created memory, but then it disappears. It has a quick moment of thought that is all inspiring of the universe and creation, but then it just disappears. Now, there's a whole lot of things that goes against the idea of a Bozeman mind, but I wanted you guys just to read about it, think about it. It's an interesting thought experiment. The all can be somewhat thought of as a Bozeman mind, that it just appeared. And for the briefest of moment, it manifested everything in the universe within its mind. And the universe now exists. Now, the only difference in the Bozeman mind, the universe must exist first before the Bozeman mind can occur. So it doesn't fit in that process. But what we still have is that we all reside in the mind of the all. Right? What is the difference of the all versus animism? Animism and pantheism that's just spirit. Everything has a spirit. There's different degrees of animism. Depends on what culture you're talking about as far as animism is concerned. And you know what? Let me do this one different. I don't want to just lecture. I do want to see some of your questions. The all is mine, but I will have to continue to move forward though. The all is objective? No. You mean like have objective morality? No. But the all just creates. Hermit is a wizard who stays in a cave to them. Does the all include the nothing? There is no such thing as nothing. Even in Hermeticism, there has never been a nothingness. The all has always been the all. no end, no beginning, just always there, always being. There is nothing outside of the mind of the all. Therefore, you would never be able to prove the all because you wouldn't be able to go outside of the all to be able to observe the all. So, therefore, there isn't one. Now, there is a divine paradox. And that divine paradox is that the all is in all, but all are not the all. This is why it is said that we are all just the existence of a thought of the all. In the same way that when you dream of characters, beings, you dream of places and things. All those things within the dream are from you and of you, but they're not you because they only exist as a thought that you have. And although they are within your mind, for most people, the characters in the dream act of their own free will, as it would seem. Right? Like in the dream I had one of the dreams I had last night, my daughter Simone was still like 3-4 years old, and she had telekinetic and matter morphing abilities. And when I broke a mirror and told her to reform the mirror at 3 years old, she did it, but it was a little chaotic, and she actually, a piece of glass almost went into my eyes. So even though she was in my dream, at that moment, I didn't have control over her actions in the dream. So we exist in the mind of the all, but the all is not controlling our actions, just like when you dream, right? So that is the divine paradox. Now, I know that how do we and so I don't know how to explain this the way I want. This part it was about to come out of the wrong way. So we all exist in the mind of the all. Everything is of the all, but everything is not the all. This is why if everything was the all, then this microphone would know that it is the all. I would know that I am the all. This is why you're just like a dream character in the mind of the all. Now, I don't necessarily agree that an all exists. I don't, because there is absolutely no proof that we cannot prove it. And because we cannot exist outside, and according to Hermetics, we cannot exist outside of the mind of the all, then we would never be able to prove it. Because you have to be able to observe, test God to be able to know that this God exists. Otherwise, it's just faith. I don't have faith in an all. Now, I prefer the all over any other God because it's not this emotional being that requires my worship, but I cannot necessarily say that there is an all. And in true Hermeticism, you have to accept that there is an all and that we all exist in the mind of the all. And like any other religion, they say, well, the proof is you. You're the proof. The fact that you have the same capability of mentalism. You remember in the Bible when it says that God said, let us make man in our own image and our own likeness. There are some mystic Christians who would take that to say that in the likeness of man's ability to think, to dream, to create, that is the likeness, not the human flesh likeness, but the mental abilities likeness. So there are Hermetic Christians I know who utilize that terminology to describe that part of the Bible. So, and they get that because that's what the Hermetists say. The Hermetists will say that there's proof of the existence of the all because in the image of the all, we are created and we think. Everything that you see in front of you right now, everything you see around you, if you look around you, everything you see originally started as a mental creation in someone's mind. Some indigenous Americans saw some leaves, and they took those leaves They dried them out, rolled them up, and they smoked them. But it was an image in someone's mind standing over a field, looking at those leaves and saying, we can't eat those because every time someone eats them, they feel sick. There's something about it that makes it sick. But they also say if they had a good meal and they snack on them, then they kind of go into a little woo-woo-ish. They feel it's more of a sedation, right? And especially when someone is in pain, we feed them these leaves and they go, it's kind of like a sedative. And then somebody thought about roll them and smoke them. Everything around you started out as someone's mental creation. It was a thought process. Every toy, every phone, every torch, every fan, every statue. You see the rock, and someone's looking at the rock. And if they are a sculptor, they see the image before it's ever created, and then they start chipping away to create the image. So the key to the law of mentalism in your daily life is that before you create something, that everything that you create starts in your mind. And it is the process of bringing what is in your mind to reality. And how do we go through that process? And the rest of the 7 Hermetic laws is the process that you go through in order to bring forth whatever it is you manifest in your mind. Because that is all manifesting is. Most people are running around here talking, I manifested that. I'm going to manifest me a new house. But yet they never go and fix their credit. They never make themselves more marketable in the world. They never go and start any kind of hustle or business to increase the amount of money so that they can pay the down payment, or they don't seek out whatever loan program. And then 20 years later, I'm going to manifest me a house. God going to bring me a house. They never go through the process. The rest of the Hermetic principles is the process. That's the process in order to get there. But yes, these are universal laws. So the difference between laws cannot be broken. You can break the shit out of biblical laws. You can break the hell out of those. Worship this God. Nope. Don't kill. Nope. I'm killing. These you can't break. You can't break them. Like I said, I don't know how well you guys can see them on the screen. I dropped my cigar. Trying to get my glasses. Hold on for 1 second, because I don't want to look at this screen. I don't want to put my glasses on. And I just want to look over there. All right. So everything that you create, everything that you desire to have. Now, unlike the all, and you see, to say that everybody has desires, everybody has needs, everybody has wants. You have them all. Now, in order for you to satisfy those things, you have to go through this process. Now, whether they turn out to be good or bad is going to be is relative to some of the things on here. The rest of them I want to go through a little bit quicker. So the next one on here, and I don't go based on how they have commonly numbered the 7. I look at them a little bit differently, right? A little bit different. Most people go and they know the saying, to the law of correspondence. The law of correspondence is as above, so below. So below, as above. They don't really say that last part, the so below, as above. As within, so as within, as without, as without, as within. The inside is like the outside is like the inside. Right? You all heard that before. As above, so below. Esoteric Christians like to say that, that's like talking about Jacob's ladder. See, Jacob's ladder has as above, so below, because he saw angels descending and ascending. But as above, so below actually indicates that whatever happens in the above also happens in the below, and whatever happens in the below also happens in the above. So the same way that you have, people have this idea of heaven, that when you get to heaven, there is no sorrow, there is no sadness, there is all just joy, 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 joy. Bullshit. The first heaven had a war in it, because as above, so below. so below as above. If there is an afterlife, or if there is a higher consciousness, and this is where the conscious people, where they get pissed off, because they think that, oh, I'm gonna raise my consciousness, I'm gonna dwell as a light being in the spiritual realm of Astarte. And they're gonna get there and they're gonna find out that greed still exists in the spiritual realm of Astarte. They're gonna get there as a light being and realize that poverty still exists in the light being existence. They're gonna get there and find out that war still exists in the Astarte light being district. Everybody has this problem. Buddhism has this problem. When you reach the Buddha mind, your consciousness, you would be in this Buddha, that you reach nirvana. You go through and reach samadhi in the Hindu. As above, so below says that the same bullshit you got in your realm of existence is the same bullshit that happens in every realm of existence. The same greatness that happens in this realm of existence is the same greatness that happens in the higher, in the other realms of existence. It doesn't freaking matter. The universe is a constant, and the universe has change in it always, but it is a constant. No matter what level of existence you are existing in, there is the same thing. When we look at the atomic mind, what we see in the atomic mind is particles are attracted to each other, particles are repelled from each other. Very simple on a particle level. People are attracted to one another, people are repelled from one another. Animals are attracted to one another, animals are repelled from one another. Same thing. So whether we're looking at the animal mind, the plant mind, the human mind, so what makes you think the spiritual levels, the higher levels, the energy levels is going to be any different than the evidence of the levels that you can see on Earth and that we can see in the particle world, what we can see in the frequency world? Some frequencies are repelling, some frequencies are attractive. We see it all around, all up and down the spectrum. And that's all the law of correspondence is saying, is that whatever happens on the spirit, on the higher levels, happens on the lower levels, and they all affect each other as well. There is a point where they merge. Now, there's a point of separation. If you have, so if we look at it like cigar leaves, you have cigar leaves that are listed as AAA, AA, single A. Then you have triple B, triple B, double B, single B, triple C, and on triple C, double C, and single C, triple D, double D, and single D. All right. Triple A is so far away from single D that there is no effect. They don't interact. Right. But there is that point where A and triple B are really close. Yeah, just like batteries, really close to one another. Right. That's the bridging point, is where A and triple B is. That's the bridging point. Now, double, and here's the thing: cigar smokers will understand this, and you guys should be able to. If you are a cigar smoker, a true aficionado, you can tell when the leaves that you're smoking are B level, triple B, and you can tell when the leaves are triple A. Oh my God, there is a major difference between triple A leaves and triple B leaves. You know the difference. It is magnificently different. But you can't tell much of a difference when it's a triple B and a single A leaf. You can't tell, right? You really can't. It's so nuanced that you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, right? You just wouldn't. And I'm sure many of you guys can understand that, and many other examples that are more relatable to you, right? That there are, so when people say, now you see this in almost every religion where they talk about, Halloween just passed, not, well, almost a month ago, 20 days ago, Halloween, the night where the veil between the spiritual realm and the living realm is thinnest. This is A and triple B. This is the law of correspondence, that time frame where things on the spiritual can affect things on the matter. That's what prayer is supposed to be. Spiritual things affecting matter world things. Right. So you're, like I said, you're going to find so many examples of the Hermetics in religions. But that's just all the law of correspondence is understand. Now, so think about that for your own self. How do you apply that to your own self? Because it sounds like a whole bunch of witchy crafty bullshit, right? You know how they say whatever's on your inside will be displayed on your outside. That's a level of correspondence that you can deal with. Whatever your mind, or when people say give a person some money and you just see it, just exemplifies more who they are. But I like the other version for that. Whatever is on your inside, you will see on your outside. You can say a whole bunch of bullshit, but what you truly think is displayed based on where you spend your money, where you spend your time. That shows what's true. Oh shit, I was about to rhyme because I was gonna say what's truly on your mind, and the shit is still rhyming. What a fine time for me. Now let me stop. But it is true. Whatever, however you spend your time, however you spend your money, that shows what's really in your mind, what's really in your heart. That's really who you are, right? You can talk shit all day. Oh, I'm the type of person that I like to do this and I like to do that. When the last time you did this? When the last time you did that? Oh, this person is my friend. When the last time you talked to him? When the last time you spent any time with him? Right? See, what's on the inside is shown on the outside. It's law of correspondence. What you decide to do with yourself, you may have your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, but they're not really you if there's no results of it. And that's where the other laws come into are going. That the more physical laws will demonstrate the law of correspondence. Most of these hermetics and mysticism people, they try to focus on the spiritual part. If I was trying to build you guys into some spiritual bullshit so I can get some money out of you or create an organization, then I'd be sitting up here saying that, yes, the law of correspondence is saying that you can access your ancestors and bring them and coerce them or convince them to help you find a husband, find a wife, help you and alleviate the stresses that that you're dealing with. Or you can write your book of demonology like Solomon did to show how you control the demons, right? Or and then that way you have the ability to control the above and have them build Solomon's temple. That's what the book of demonology says. They built a demon was used to build Solomon's temple. Is that, wait a minute, is that Solomon's book of demonology says that? Or it might be some other shit. Anyway, somebody said that. But it is this whole mystical spiritual thing that you're contacting your ancestors. I'm gonna contact my ancestors. No, it's not what law corresponds. Now, because of the law of mentalism, this is the only mystic part of the law of correspondence. This is the only mystic part. Because of the law of mentalism and your memory, you can channel the memory of an ancestor or someone you studied, channel the abilities that person have to motivate you to go get some shit done, to change your mental energy. Example. So my grandfather is super protective of the family. He's definitely an asshole. He was definitely an asshole. But when it comes to protecting the family, all right, he was unbridled. He was you didn't mess with his wife, his kids, his grandkids. You can talk all the shit you want, but you didn't mess with them, right? When I see a situation where my family needs protecting, I channel my grandfather. Eddie J. Ross full comes out full. All the Eddie J. Rossisms. All of it comes out. That is about as close as you can get to the spiritual above affecting the spiritual below, is the fact that you yourself are copying or pulling out something from an ancestor or someone. And it don't even have to be an ancestor. I learned later on in life in studying hermetics, I don't even need an ancestor, just somebody I studied. You know, oh, the tenacity of this person, I'm going to channel that energy, right? So that's the that's in a nutshell, that's the law of correspondence. It's just, who are you on the inside? Can you bring it to the outside? You know, well, who you truly are will always be brought to the outside. You know, like when I'm doing coaching, I always tell, like, I tell a couple in a heartbeat, they can talk all they want to, but how they treat you shows what they're really thinking. That's where the real thought is. So talk all the shit. You know, they can say everything they want to say. Say Eddie J. Ross sound like a great name. Oh yeah, that was my grandpappy. So law course. Now, usually a person going through this would go through the next one they would talk about is the law of vibration. I do not. I do not. Because honestly, if you don't drop always down to the seventh law, the law of gender, it's kind of like, no. The rest of them, you got to get the law of gender right first. If you don't get the law of gender right, you're going to mess up the other laws that follow. And let me go faster in this because I don't want like a whole fucking hour to go by and I'm not talking to y'all. I'm just talking, right? So the law of gender basically says that everything has masculine and feminine energies, masculine and feminine principles, that you cannot manifest anything without the masculine and the feminine. There must be the male and the female in order to create anything. This is why ancient cultures had gods and goddesses. This is why almost every ancient story starts out with the salt waters above and the where the salt waters below and the fresh waters above, and they were commingling, and from them birthed out beings or the land, and then there's always masculine and feminine. You cannot have creation without masculine and feminine. This the grossest form of this, and not gross like ooh nasty gross, but in our gross reality, put it that way. The easiest understandable example of that is sex. Man, it takes a man and a woman to have a child. Parthenogenesis does not happen in humans. So that's why that story is bullshit. But you got to have a male, female to have a child. Simple as that. Do I care if you choose to love another man or love another woman and you're of the same sex? I don't give a shit. I care less. Right? You got couples who are male and female and they choose not to have children. So having kids is not the moral thing here that I'm going to use that in order to make somebody seem immoral. No. Let's think about it on a higher consciousness. If you want to build a business, you got to have masculine energy in the business. You got to have feminine energy in the business. Masculine energy is oftentimes denoted as instructional energy, logical energy. Feminine energy is oftentimes denoted as emotional and nurturing energy. If you want to build a business, you have to know how much instructional, how much nurturing, how much logical, how much emotion is going to go into this business, right? You cannot allow your emotions to overwhelm you to the point where you think that all I got to do is put it together and people are going to show up, build it, and they will come. That is bullshit, nurturing emotional energy. There's a certain level to it. You have to build it. You have to make it inviting. But you have to have some logical instruction. Is it in the right location? Is it the right time frame? What type of marketing am I going to put out there? What's the best type of marketing to put out there? Even within the marketing, does my marketing need to be straightforward, or does it need to invoke what emotions that it need to invoke? There's a balance that you have to have. And the balance is not always 50-50. Sometimes you're doing something that you want to create something that needs more feminine energy. So it might be a 70% feminine energy, 30% masculine energy. And this has nothing to do with your sexuality. So for any guy out there, and it's mostly dudes who think this way, if any guy out there who thinks that, oh, I ain't gonna have no goddamn feminine energy, ain't no damn feminine energy gonna be part of my thing, shit, motherfucker, goddamn, I'm all man up in here. Every time I do something, it's just straight up man, goddamn it. Everything I do, shit, I pick up a towel, it's man. Even when I wipe my ass like a man. I don't use that old soft paper towel, that soft little stuff. I get the rough sandpaper brown shit that you find at the damn gas station, and I wipe my ass with that because I'm a man. Ain't nobody talking about it like that. All right. It's fucking. If you open a daycare, right? You know that shit is 70-30. 70% of it has to be soft, emotional, nurturing energy. Right? Has to be. The 30% is the parts that keep everybody safe, that has all the requirements, the process, has all the SOPs. That's the 30. All right. You open up a brokerage firm. Oh, your ass is about 90-10. 90 masculine, 10% nurturing. Because that is cutthroat, motherfucker, fuck you. We got laws that we just barely skirting, so we need to have all our stuff right on point. So you got to have, there's masculine and there's feminine in everything, every creation. This is what created the Gnostic idea of Yaldabaoth is the idea, and listen to how it sounds. Yaldabaoth created the earth and trapped the souls of that, all the other souls that left the Plamora, but he created the earth without the Sophia. The Sophia is the wisdom, the nurturing. So Yaldabaoth is the masculine, the Sophia is the feminine, but without the feminine, Yaldabaoth created the earth. That's why the earth is fucked up and evil, according to Gnosticism. The Plamora, which would be like the all, is both, because out of it came both. So you can see evidence, you can see it was in societies, in the thought processes back a long time ago. And a Kush, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, or you can see this scroll over there, you know a Kush is going to throw down all the Hindu stuff that deals with it. This is, I be messing up the two guys, Kali and Brahma. Or is it Kali and Vishnu? Because y'all know I like Kali. I like Kali. Kali be whooping that ace. Until Vishnu or Brahma, I think it's Brahma, laid down under her feet to bounce out, because Kali was all up in the masculine energy. Right? All up in the magic. Y'all went to kill the demons, but now I'm gonna kill every goddamn body. You have a similar story in the Egyptian story with a daughter who's the son of a daughter of Ra, who was sent to kill just a few people. Then she lost her goddamn mind and she went and killed. She was killing everybody. Some lion-headed goddess, and then he turned the river into wine, and she got drunk in order to calm her down. Kali and Shiva, thank you, Kali and Shiva. But yeah, then he turned some water into some wine, a river into some wine. She drank that wine, and then she calmed down. I forgot what Egyptian goddess story that is, right? Yeah, but Shiva and Kali, husband and wife. But this is why all the ancient stories, they have husband and wife. This is why the old Hebrew story was El and Asherah. And then Yahweh became merged with El, and he still had Asherah, his wife, masculine and feminine. This, even though they tried to say that the Elohim in Genesis is in reference to the masculine singular, no. Because of the time frame and the belief at the time frame, them motherfuckers meant gods and goddesses. I don't care how many scholars will agree that it was used in the masculine singular. I get it. Later on, there is use of the writings of Elohim as the masculine. It's meaning masculine singular. But Genesis is not one of them. Because them motherfuckers were pantheistic back then. They were polytheistic, back then. So that's all the bullshit. I go with the historical context instead of the literary context of how it's been repeatedly used through the majority of the Bible. History matters more. So whenever you're creating something, you have to be able to look at it and say, while you're still going through your mentalism, while you're still looking inside yourself, how much energy from either side has to be put into this? So how much instructional base, how much nurturing, how much care, uh, how much force has to be put into anything that you're creating? When you have children and you're raising those children, one child requires more masculine energy directed towards her, while the other child required more feminine energy directed towards her. Uh, Sydney required more nurturing. Simone, I could just be very direct. Lincoln, I can just be my son. I could just be very direct. Sydney, I gotta give a little help. All right, baby girl. Okay, this is what daddy gonna do for you. Let me sit you down. Let me explain it to you. All right, because you great. Them other two, look at this is all you gotta do. You gotta do A, B, C, D, and E. Go do that. Boom, man, it's done. It's always a constant change of utilizing when to utilize your masculine, when to utilize your feminine, and how much of each one that you use at any given time, depending upon the situation. So when you're trying to master your life, I use these principles to help people master their lives. When you're trying to master your life, in your mind, you have to be able to flip the switch onto which energies you're using at any different time frame with whomever or the situation that you're dealing with. It's as simple as that. So law of gender, although it is 7th on the list, I always put it 3rd on my list. I always make it 3rd because to me it's the 3rd most important one because it makes everything else go. Now, so the next one, and damn, I'm taking way longer than I anticipated for this part. So the next one is the law of vibration. The law of vibration basically says that everything vibrates. Actually, you know what? No, I flipped these as well. Sorry. My apologies. I flipped these as well. I don't do the law of vibration next. The next one is the law of polarity. The law of polarity is number 4 on this list. It is truly number 4 on my list still. Vibration is the one that moves down to number 5 in how I talk about this. Actually, no, they all move down some more. I'm just going to do this my way. Sorry. The next one is the law of polarity. The law of polarity says that everything exists on a pole. There is no such thing as good and evil, or I should say good or evil. There's no such thing as good or evil. There is just treatment. You have to understand what exists on the pole. When we say something, oh, this is a good God, this is an evil devil. They both exist on a pole of treatment or morality, So they're one and the same on the same pole. Is just one is so far to the right. Remember correspondence, AAA versus a single D leaf. AAA, they so far apart on the pole that they look different. They can't be of the same substance. They can't be on the same pole, but it's all the same pole. It's all the same thing. If there is a God and the God is good, then the polar opposite is a God is totally evil, but it's not a different God. It's just God. Good, evil, and every goddamn thing in the middle. That is the all. The all is good, evil, and everything in the middle. That is any God that claims to be the everything God. It would have to be everything from God to devil and everything in the middle. And there are millions of degrees in between. And somewhere along there, humans fall, angels fall, demons fall. But it is all just one thing. It's like asking, is there such thing as hot? Is there such thing as cold? No, there is only temperature. The Kabbalion uses this as an example, that there is only temperature. There is no hot nor cold, but simply temperature. And then there are a million degrees within it. And no one can answer the question, where does hot begin and where does cold begin? Because it is all subjective as to where hot begins and where cold begins. My wife is a perfect example. Last night, it was a nice, comforting breeze that was blowing across the back porch. My wife had on some sweatpants and a sweatshirt. Because to her, it was cold. To me, it was nice, temperate. Where does hot begin? Where does cold begin? It is all subjective. Where does good begin? Where does evil begin? It is all subjective. Because in between good and evil, there are millions of degrees in between it. It is all subjective. But you have to understand what you're dealing with. If you're manifesting anything, if you have an issue at work, you have an issue with a person. If you don't understand, remember, I always tell you guys, you got to get to the root of a thing. This is because I'm talking about polarity. You have to figure out what is the polarity, what pole you're dealing with, what the actual issue is before you can do anything. What is the point of understanding vibration, which normally people list ahead of polarity? If you don't even know what pole you're dealing with, there is no point. Oh, sorry. You two, maybe you have to do this thing. Uh, there's no point to it. So you got to understand what pole you're dealing with. When you understand the pole, uh, then you can do the next thing. And the next thing is, in the way I do it, the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect, Christians hate this one because it gets rid of miracles. And you know they want their miracles. There are degrees of polarity, though, right? Yeah, there are degrees of polarity, and we're going to get there. We're going to get there to the degrees of polarity because these last few all work together. This is all working together to manifest whatever it is you are designed to manifest, whether it's something in you, something outside of you, something in life, the person that you want to be, doesn't matter. These next few, the rest of them all have to work together. So after the law of polarity, then there's the law of cause and effect. There is no such thing as luck, chance, or miracle. There is only cause and effect. What you call luck, chance, and miracle are causations that you just don't know. So in the same way I would tell a Christian or any other religious person that there are no miracles, the same way I would tell an atheist there's no such thing as luck. You're not lucky. It didn't happen by chance. It's not serendipitous. And we get serendipity wrong anyway. Serendipity really just means when you have to be prepared for opportunity, not opportunity happens to come along. You have done things to prepare yourself to be able to take advantage of opportunity because opportunity is always in front of you. You're just not prepared for it. So there is no such thing as luck, chance, luck, miracle, or chance. There is just cause and effect. And there are sometimes causes that you don't know the effects of it. I mean, there are sometimes effects that you don't know the causation. You get fired from a job or laid off from a job. You may not know why. You don't know what decision process went through at headquarters that created the layoff. But your ass got laid off. You're reeling from the effects. And oftentimes we live our lives and based on other people's causations. When you learn to take over your causations, when you learn how to move the needle, and this is where we're going to get into mixing the other laws. When you get ready to move the needle, you're looking at the polarity scale. You're looking at the polarity scale. You know that you either on to the right or to the left of this based on the effects of causations. When you learn to become more of a causal factor in your life, you move up that scale. You move more to the right or more to the left because you are deciding which way you're going to move because of your causations. Now, I'm not going to stay long on that cause and effect because I'm going to mix these things up here. How do we move up and down the scale? The law of vibration. The next one will be the law of vibration. Everything vibrates. Nothing stands still. There's no such thing as death. Everything has a vibration. Everything is constantly moving. This microphone is vibrating. It's just vibrating so fucking slow, so minor that it gives the sense of that it's solid, but it is still vibrating. The atoms, the molecules within it is still vibrating. But the faster something vibrates, the less density it has, or the appearance, or it's less apparent. The young lady who was on the live on Tuesday, when she gave the example of a fan moving real fast and the blades moving, and then all of a sudden it's like there are no blades, even though we weren't talking about vibration. That is often used as an example of vibration, that a thing can still be present, but it needs to move. But as it vibrates faster and faster, it has less density, right? If you can vibrate the Flash, if you watch, y'all know I'm a comic nerd, love my superhero genre. The Flash, when he wants to get through a wall, he vibrates at such a rate that his molecules, his atoms, that he can pass through walls, right? Oh, Kevin Willis just put it on there too. You can move through walls like the Flash. Exactly. So there is vibration. Now, in this law of vibration is not only talking about it from a scientific perspective, but where is your mental vibration when it comes to the fact that if you want to get in better health, if you want to be able to have a better relationship, what is the vibration? What vibration are you at? And your vibration is determined by your cause and effects, or the causation of others and how it affects you. But then how you respond to those effects, what causation you take after those effects, those are the things that determine where you vibrate on the pole. So someone earlier said there are varying degrees on the pole. Yes, you determine what degree you are on the pole based on your vibration, which is based on the cause and effects in your life, based on what causations you initiate and based on the causation that other people initiate. This ain't. Ooh. I still got to read more about it, but I saw a guy talking about last night that I have always been a fair tax advocate, but they were talking about doing a 30% fair tax, getting rid of all federal income taxation and just having a 30% sales tax on it. If the American government does this, there are some people who are going to thrive who haven't been thriving before under the fair tax. There are some people who are going to suffer like a big dog under the fair tax. There are some people who are already suffering and still going to suffer some more and suffer worse under the fair tax. But all of this is going to be based on causation. This would be a great financial demonstration of cause and effect, right? If they were to implement this 30% federal sales tax. I think 30% is too fucking high, though, personally. I think it need to be dropped down more around 23, 22%. Even though some people are saying 23%, I think it need to be dropped down to about 18%. But the reason why I say this, I want you to think about it in these terms before you get into your political sides, left and right. If a person buys a car that's $100,000, then they would pay an extra $30,000 in taxes on that car. If a person buys a car that's $50,000, then they will pay an extra $15,000 in taxes on that car, right? That's it, $30,000. One person is paying twice as much. Now, if you got a person who only makes $30,000 a year and you got a person who makes $100,000 a year, right? Who's paying more in taxes? Because when they go and buy cars, is the $30,000, $40,000 a year person going to be able to buy a $100,000 car? No, they're not going to get finance for that. But the person who makes $100,000 can get finance for a $100,000 car. So when they both go buy cars, it's most likely that the person who makes more money is going to buy the more expensive things, and therefore buying the more expensive things, they are going to pay more in taxes, right? Now, because of American mentalities, we know that people, when they make some money, they always want to go spend the damn money, except for the super rich. They know how to spend their money. The middle rich, the higher income people, they don't know how to spend their money. The middle class don't know how to spend their money. The poor damn sure don't know how to spend their money. And you got people within all the groups who know how to spend their money. So it's not everybody. But most of the time, the six-figure earners, they like to have nice things. Now, the ones who know how to look into the future, they know better. They're like, what? Flat tax? Well, the thing about it, I make $200,000 a year, but I'm not buying $100,000 car. I'm gonna get me a $50,000 car. Um, they will pay less taxes than the person who makes 50,000 a year because they buy lower cost things. So, um, but that's the vibration. That's the mentalism of the person that moves you up and down the scale. That's the cause and effect. So if your causation is that you make 200,000, but you know to buy the $50,000 car, where your neighbor who makes 200,000 goes and buy the $100,000 car, where your neighbor is paying twice as much in taxes that you're paying, and both of y'all just got a fucking car. It's just a car. Like at the end of the day, it's just a car. And but that's my vibration. To me, it's just a car. I love old-fashioned cars, but I'm not a car guy. I don't care. I treat that Mustang like a truck. I would throw all kind of shit in the back seat, in the trunk. I treat that thing like a truck out here in Texas. So the law of when you look at the law of vibration, where you are on the pole is determined by your mentalism, your mental thought process, how you view things on your inside, who you really are on the inside, and then how much masculine and feminine energy you are exuding, which then determines your cause and effects and how you respond to cause and effect. But your causation and all of that makes when we're looking at the polarity, because you may be one way on one pole, but you're totally different on another pole. And so your vibration on those poles determine where you are on the pole. And then last but not least is the law of rhythm. The law of rhythm is where are you on the pole? And as far as you are to the right is as far to the left you can go. So if you were to find yourself, like, so I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to not have food in your house, growing up without food at times, having to go to grandma's house to eat. Um, I know what it's like being in Atlanta, and it's right now. Like, I don't know if you guys know the weather in Atlanta right now, but it's still somewhat-ish fall, a little warm in the daytime, but cool at night. I remember those years where I was still wearing summer clothes this time of the year. It was cold as fuck, especially when it starts getting dark and you ain't got the clothes. So as far as you have been on one side is as far as you can swing to the other side. So if you become the super rich, you can fall all the way to the super poor. That's the law of rhythm. As far to the right you can swing is as far to the left. If you have let's say you grew up in a family and you were middle class, let's use relationships instead. Emotional standing. You grew up in a family where there wasn't a lot of outpouring of emotion. And, there was like, if this is the love of the family, this is the pole of love, your family swings, you're about right in here. And you've only experienced this much love over here. Well, if you've only, let me make this bigger for y'all to be able to see what I'm doing. So if this is a love pole, right? Your family is about, you guys are like right in here. And you've never experienced any love beyond that. And then you experience a little bit more love in relationships when you start dating, but then you always have this, and this is your swing. Your rhythm is just right here, right? This is your rhythm. But this is as far as you went to the right, well, this is as far as you can go to the left. You stay within that rhythm. But then but if you were a romantic, and you swing all the way over here, you can swing all the way over here. This is that love struck. Oh, love, beautiful, romantic. Oh my God, I love her so. And she left me, so I become a stalker murderer over here when she leaves. Right? Law of rhythm. As far as you swing to the right is as far as you can swing to the left. Right? So, but most people, they have a rhythm about right in here. But if you can swing out, we talked yesterday. I said how one person go from being a 100 millionaire to negative billionaire to billionaire, because because it works in reverse. If you go all the way, if you started here and then you swing all the way to the left, oh, that just showed you can swing all the way back over here to the right. You can go far beyond where you used to be. Right? Law of rhythm. The beauty, there is a law within the law of rhythm. It's called the law of polarity. The law of polarity is to be able to recognize that when you're over here to the right, as soon as you start backsliding to the left, you start to reinvigorate the Hermetic laws to get your ass back to the right again. Don't allow yourself to slide this far back. You stay right in here, the law of polarity. You polarize yourself to be minor, have minor swings. Oh, you know what? I haven't kissed my wife today. Let me go kiss her. Get right back. Oh, I haven't smacked my wife on the booty today. Let me go smack it. Right back. Oh, I haven't given a good idea at work recently. Let me think of a good idea. Oh, I haven't, whatever it is. The law of polarity allows you to get right back into, to polarize yourself on one side of the pole. I did not think that I was going to spend an hour talking about just going through the rules, but all of these work together. The only part about it I don't like about Hermetics is the fact that there is a God aspect to it. So I usually nix the all part. I don't consider the all. It is simply we do create everything first by mental creation, and all things are mental. Now, does that mean the universe is mental? I can't prove it. Can't prove it at all. But I do know that whatever it is on your inside, how your true mind, your true thoughts, your true emotions are demonstrated in your actions, your time, your money. That's going to demonstrate who you truly are. And based on that, how much masculine feminine energy will determine what you're able to create and how well you can create that thing that you're trying to create. And only when you understand the pole of what you're creating on can you then utilize cause and effect to raise your vibration to manifest whatever that thing is, and so that you can have it. And then once you do have it, you then utilize these same rules to understand the rhythm of the swing so that you can polarize yourself to that one side and stop going from extremely hot to extremely cold. If the world were to function more along those lines, would it be better than Christianity? Would it be better than Christianity? In Christianity, you can find some elements of the Hermetic laws. You can see how they talked about the Jacob's ladder, how the idea of the Trinity has somewhat of a mentalism aspect to it, a little bit. Their prayers has a little bit. So all those, it's got a little bit, but what you don't have in these laws is enslavement, because the idea is that you want to move to the right of every pole. That's the idea. Hermeticism is about, Hermeticism and alchemy are hand in hand. They both derive from the same thing. So alchemy is to increase the vibration of your mind to the point where you have nothing but golden thoughts. Increase the vibration of your actions so that all your actions are golden. Right. So alchemy and Hermeticism are one and the same. They walk hand in hand. You cannot have, if the world was functioning on Hermeticism, we would not have slavery. We would not have racism. We would not have sexism. See, that's why I say if a person is practicing Hermeticism and alchemy and they still see race, then you're not practicing it well, because you would recognize that there is no such thing as race. If a person is practicing this and you still have issues like, gay people need to go to hell, or I don't like gay people, or gay people is wrong. Okay, how they hurting you? How are you hurting you? There is no order under alchemy or Hermeticism to populate the earth. So what the fuck? Even if somebody want to believe in a in a religion, yes, stupid ass religion. If somebody want to believe in a stupid ass religion that makes no sense at all, that has a fairy tale god, why does it pain you so much? Why does it hurt you so much? Why do you get so angry? Why do you have to character assassinate people? Let them believe in it if it doesn't affect you. Now, when they're trying to affect you, when they're trying to make laws that prevents you from being able to pursue your own happiness, your own joy, to elevate your consciousness, then there's a problem. Then there's a problem. That's when you fight against it. That's when you say, no, can't let you slide on that one. But other than that, no, there's no reason. No reason whatsoever. There's none. So you got to have that as part of it. If we did that, we would have a better world. And I can't say the world is better now than it was 200, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 500 years ago. The world, Christians like to say, oh, the world is getting worse. No, the world is in the best situation it's ever been in. And I know the oh, I'm so black. They like to say that the world was better, way back then in the, before colonization. No, the locals were having wars and shit too. The locals were enslaving other tribes as well. Women still didn't have agency. So no, the world is in the best situation it's ever been. And it's getting even better because more and more countries are becoming secular. More and more people are walking away from religion. So it's getting even better. What are y'all talking about? Oh, who's trying to do a scam? So does anybody have any questions about what I've been talking about? Questions or statements? And if you want to come on the show, let me know. What the fuck? Coach, how pieces of paper I do have to sign to get $10 from you, 10 and collateral I have to put up money if I can't pay you. Y'all see, I know you can't see this on TikTok, but this is literally how this person wrote. Couch, not coach. Couch. How pieces of paper do I have to sign to get $10 from you, 10 and collateral I have to put up if I can't pay you back? Why are you asking me for money, first of all? And yeah, this is stupid. And if you say you can't pay somebody back, of course you got to put up some collateral. What the hell? There is some stupid point to Fred writing that. I don't know what the stupid point is, but there's some stupid point. I guess he wants some money. Obviously, it's some type of he wants to try to test me or thinks that he's trapping me into something, because for some reason he gets he's whatever. Sacrifice and love can hurt was taught on that poll. I'm not sure I understand what you mean, spaz ass. Sacrifice and love can hurt was taught on that. It might be in reference to a previous comment. I'm not sure. Does Hermeticism have any concepts of liberation and final goal, just like the concept of moksha in Hinduism? Final goal, like there's a final earth, like a final heaven. I mean, but if it's a final heaven, somewhat in the Hermeticism that accepts the belief of there's the all, there's the idea that at some point you get to a realm just below the God realm, the all realm, And that's the last realm you could ever get to. And it's the highest level of consciousness. Still have, but it's so far away from what this shit looked like on Earth that it's unrecognizable. But there's still free will. There's still the possibility that somebody can do something stupid. But you can never reach the realm of the all, because you would have to become the all. You would then be equal to the all if you could reach the realm of the all. Now, because I take the all out of it, it's just an infinite. And if your mind stays, your consciousness stays together, then there will be an infinite levels up and down. So to me, there is no final goal. But if you accept the all, there is a final goal but even that would seem like an eternity to get to that level. But like how the polarity, there are so many millions of degrees, and this existence here would just be one out of billions. Now, of course, people have interpreted these things in so many different ways. Every modern interpretation is different here and there. People try to make it more grounded. You can make it, and you can make it more grounded to your everyday life. Some people do violate the ideas of it because they want to make it connected to American nationalism or Christianity or Islam or Europe or Africa. They want to nationalize it, which always mess it up. Where does Hermeticism come from? Truly all over the world, but the information written that we have now really comes from the Mediterranean region. A lot of it out of Egypt, Mesopotamia, that was put together by the sons of Mithra. Rather, it's Cosmo Medici initiated, but he had the help of the sons of Mithra, which is a secret organization back in the day. But they were a secret organization because the Catholic Church was like killing people, so they had to be in secret. What? Tight and stingy with your money. Why would I give any money to you, Fred? And how you don't even know me? See, this is a perfect example of someone who vibrates very low on the scale. You see, a person who doesn't understand Hermetic principles will vibrate on the lower end of the scale, because if you say something that they don't like, or if you are saying something against what they believe in, then of course they must come to your page and not just have the higher vibration to just keep on scrolling by. When they do come to the page, what they try to do now is to character assassinate you without even knowing who you are, without having spent one moment of time together. Let me go ahead and determine the type of person you are based on some videos that I've seen you talk about. And if you ever talk about money or building business, then you're stingy. Because as he says, you're mean, tight, and stingy with money. And with your scammer, sir, and you're a scammer, sir, and a cult leader. In December 14th, if you give us 9 businesses to open in 2026, why have you bid for them yourself, sir? Why have you bid for them? Oh, I think you meant why haven't you did them yourself? Because 2026 hasn't started yet. And here's the thing, I'm already doing one of them, dumbass. You don't know me. I'm already doing one. I've spread tentacles to other people who I've worked with for them to do the other, so I can see how they work while I'm also coaching them and doing them, because I can't do all 9 of them. That would be stupid to do all 9. Well, I tell you, these humans. Oh, okay. I got to make this modification. My moderator just told me that I forgot to make the comments big and wide. Oh, hell. Did I forget this other thing too? I sure did. Sure enough did. But yeah, like, so lower vibrational people, they get caught up into their emotions too much. And when they get caught up into their emotions, they go out and they make these judgments concerning people without ever determining whether or not their judgments are correct. Like, you wouldn't be able to know whether or not a person is stingy with their money unless you actually spend time with the person. Now, how would you know whether or not a person is stingy or not? Unless you know them, spend time with them. And then what would you call stingy? Because they don't give money to you? Maybe I don't like you. If I don't like you, why would I ever give you any money? Right? That doesn't make sense. I used to tell my children all the time, right now, I don't like you. I love you, but I don't like you right now. So because I don't like you, let me tell you what you're not about to do. Let me tell you where you're not going. So your statements, the only reason I'm giving this any attention whatsoever is because it is the perfect example of someone functioning on the lower vibration of the pole and then coming to ridiculous conclusions because their mentalism is at a depreciated state. Your mentalism is at such a low level that you can't help yourself. I honestly feel bad for you because you've been so duped into this religion that you just can't stand yourself. Okay. Had to fix something real quick. So I didn't see anything that you guys were typing for the last minute. So let me go. Oh, let me put this in here as well. Oh, and since he's talking about, hey Fred, here's the link to the Eventbrite. Here's the link. Love to have you, buddy. Love for you to be there. It'd be great. It'd be awesome to have you there. Coach, are you familiar with Waffalana? What the heck? What is this? Rupert? What? We got a Rupert sighting? What? No, I have never heard of it. Has anybody ever heard of this? Waqualafana. I don't know. Never heard of it, Rupert. So you have to tell me about it, what it is. I have no idea what that is. What's it? Okay, so nobody else has heard of whatever that was. Mm-hmm. Had to get my cigar ready. Start hitting my cigar more in the middle of the show, so I have more of a lasting effect. Now, Coach, you know he been asking. He ain't coming. No, I know he ain't coming. Fred, if you truly wanted to come onto the show, let me tell you something that you could have been done. That I didn't realize this until yesterday. So you could easily just go to my TikTok page, and I guarantee that your phone will probably work on TikTok. It's Coach Rans, or it's Deconstructing Christianity, Coach Rans 33 on TikTok. If you truly wanted to come on here, but I know you just, full of shit. All right, let me let everybody see this. Whatever that word is, because I can probably sound it out if I really try, but no, is an indigenous monotheistic religion that the Oromo people in the Horn of Africa, centered on the belief that a single God creator known as Waka. Um, its core belief includes the existence of spiritual forces called Anyayanas that mediate between God and humans. Not like angels. An ethical code called Stafu, reverence for nature. Cool. And oral traditions. The religion is closely connected to Oromo culture, identity, and the Gada system of governing. So I would have to research who the Oromo people are, more about this God, and who the Gada people are, and then go through the details of theirs. But based on what you just said, it sounds like a pretty cool religion. Sounds better than Christianity. Well, but I would have to know more about their ethical code, because you might just be showing the good part of the ethical code. It might have some fuckery going on too. But it sounds interesting. Because it's in the comments, I'll be able to find it and spell it out and look it up. So is Hermeticism considered part of esotericism? It can be. Esoteric can be part of anything. It's basically finding the secret knowledge of any religion. But Hermeticism is not really finding the secret knowledge of any religion. Many people would just say that Hermeticism is esoteric, hidden knowledge, but it's not really. Hermeticism has been available for the last 150, 200 years, right? And definitely for the last 20, or since the internet, the last 40 years, it's been readily available for anybody. Oh my gosh. Can you give us our beginning of creation? Hey, here's the thing. Nobody knows the beginning of creation. Everybody got made up ass stories about it. The Aztec says that man was created from mud and corn. So does that mean that since man was created by Quetzalcoatl from mud and corn, then they have a beginning story of our creation? So since they have a beginning story of our creation, then they're right. You see, so keep asking that dumbass question of you can't give us our beginning, our creation, because I won't give you some made up bullshit. But what I can tell you is that through ancestral evolution, your ass came from a hominid that eventually branched off and became a Homo sapien, and a bunch of different variations of man in between. Yeah, I think it's the Aztecs or the Mayans. The god used some maize and dirt and made the first people. Or is it two twin brothers, two twin brother gods who made the first one? And isn't it amazing they use maize, because that was a common product, a sturdy, life sustaining product in their culture. So we're going to use that. See, because somebody tell a story about creation of man, but the story is unproven and the story is disproven. It's unproven because man does not, you cannot find Eve. You cannot find the true lineage of Adam and Eve. You can't find the bodies of Adam and Eve. You can't find anybody who existed in that time, in those times frames from this book. There is no proof of the existence of any of them. The rivers don't match up. The Pison, the Gihon, the Euphrates, and the Tigris, they don't match up. They can't even write the location right in the Genesis story. You can't even write it correctly. Because it said out of Eden, the four heads of the river flowed out of Eden. Like a river flows into Eden, and then from Eden, the four heads of the river flow out. But here's the problem. The Tigris and the Euphrates don't have a starting point that is the same. We don't know where the Pison and Gihon are. But those two rivers, they flow from two different places into one place. But they don't emanate from the same place. So yeah, you can't even get your damn geolocations right in your story, much less anything else. But it's just a made-up story. But a person wants to hang on that. You can't even tell us where we came from. You believe a lie. You see, that's one of the problems. Like when you think about Hermeticism, lying lowers your vibration on the pole. So the pole is, and it's not the pole of truth and lies, it's the pole of trust. So ask yourself the question, where do you trust a person? Where does a person fall on your trust pole? Where does information fall on your trust pole? What needs to be present? What effects do we need to have that are present to demonstrate whether or not something is high on the trust pole or low on the trust pole? So when we evaluate things in that manner, our vision becomes more clear. We see things with more clarity. It's kind of like when we was talking about your third eye opening is giving you clarity to see things actually as they are. The Hermetics does a similar thing. When you start to recognize what pole you're dealing with, clarity comes. How are you vibrating on that pole? Clarity. Where are you on that pole? Clarity. How do you increase up that pole? Even more clarity. Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus. Lord, save us. Save us, Lord. Save us from Bishop Nubs.
You got no God. You ain't got no damn proof.
Nope, not a bit.
So, I'm going to have to kind of question the whole Hermetics versus Christianity. It's the same damn thing. It's all worshiping Hermes or Thoth or Tahuti. It's all the same. But Trismegistus, come on now. Christ great.
No. I'm not going to let you do that.
It's close enough.
So here's the thing. Doriel is a fucking liar. So Doriel, this is why when people ask me about reading the Emerald Tablets, I always tell them never read the Emerald Tablets of Doriel, because Doriel was a con man. He was a con man who never went to Egypt. And then when they caught him,
you mean like Jesus?
Huh?
You mean like Jesus?
Yes. And when they caught when they finally confronted Doriel and said that, hey, you've never been to Egypt, you don't have a passport to go, your passport doesn't say you've been to Egypt. Oh, I went to Egypt spiritually, is what that bastard said. No, Doriel has corrupted it. That's
Doriel said, if Paul can do it, I can do it.
Mm-hmm. And Doriel got the 9 lords and all this other bullshit in there. Yes, no, Doriel, the whole thing. Now, it is true. In the Corpus Hermeticum, they do attribute things to Hermes and to, but they say that Tahuti is like Hermes, right? And that's why they're calling it the thrice great. But yes, those people, they did worship gods. I would grant you that. But Hermetics is not an indicator of worshiping God, since they never mentioned the worship of gods. You don't even worship the all.
Well, Christians just plagiarized it and didn't quite get it right. They're kind of slow. That's why I say it's like, it's like Hermetics in the sense of the Trinity. And that's definitely where we get the Trinity, in my opinion.
If you focus on what the religious people have done with the Hermetics, sure. But when you look
and that's exactly where I'm getting at, because they've been doing it since they created the whole thing. Like, they needed extra part. Like, how are you going to tell a story where dead men are walking through Israel without putting something really, really good in there to make people ignore the fact that you just said there was zombie apocalypse in Israel?
I understand. I'm with you. But there's a reason why I didn't put up a picture of the 7 Hermetic principle and the big and Thoth sitting up there writing shit down. Because
I'll give it. And Thoth was not writing it down. He was smoking it up. Come on now.
You mean Thoth the Atlantean who flew over?
Oh yeah.
Whatever. Look,
he was a big pothead. He taught me how to smoke pot. What are you talking about?
But Thoth is not part of this. Now, when I first started, I did give the history that included the Renaissance, the Greek gaining understanding of this and how they attributed things to the gods. But this has nothing to do with the gods. And then
so you mean you're not letting me do what Christians have been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years? Come on, man.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope. I am just looking at how these principles, along with like alchemy, which alchemy and Hermeticism walk hand in hand.
Yes, they do.
Walk hand in hand. So
yes, they do.
You can't do one without the other.
So does herbalism run with all of those? Like, it's not the same, but it definitely runs hand in hand. Like, it's the little pinky versus the thumb.
Right.
You know, you can survive without the little pinky, but it's a son of a bitch. I mean, just lose the tip and I'll tell you.
That's why the only part about the Hermetic principles that I don't like, and that is the all is mind, the universe is mental. I like the all is mind, the all is mind, the universe is mental. I can understand it from the perspective that we dream and create our own universes in our minds every day. But there is no proof that we are existing in the mind of any intelligence. You would have to be outside of it in order to prove it.
I only exist inside of my own intelligent mind. That's all I can claim. And intelligence is the intelligence quotient is a very questionable thing these days, because if our standards are set at like 0.5 to, you know, like, for instance, if our reading grade, let's say our grade level 6 is every other country's grade level 3, then we're really not at a grade level 6. We're just under a false pretense that it's 6 and really read at a 3rd grade level.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and that's
go ahead. Something else you said. I only exist in how did you say that? I only exist in my
I can only exist within my own reality.
Right. You can exactly. And your consciousness only exists. The only proof of your consciousness existence is within yourself, not outside yourself. So, and that is the truth of your existence.
Well, in reality, let's be honest, you, even though you have your own reality, you are a construct of my imagination. Just as much as I am a construct of yours, because we have to imagine these conversations going back and forth. We thought about these things prior. We set up to have like, I intentionally clicked on the link, and the mesmerizing magic, whatever you want to call it, between human beings is our ability to do that. Your reality, my reality coming together. That is the Trinity, in my opinion. Yours, mine, and ours.
I like that. I like that.
Because it's based off of experience.
Yeah. And as I've always said, we all exist in our own universe, our own reality, and then that sometimes we share them.
Yes.
And then we're in a shared reality in the same way that we may be in a shared country with shared moralities.
Subjective.
And it is all subjective. But that's how we exist. And so all of existence is in our own mind. Like that tree
Absolutely.
out
And
there,
that's why we are God.
right? And that tree, I don't go that far, but like the tree outside my window, it only exists for everyone who can see the tree. Now,
Right.
even if no one was here to observe the tree will still be here because there are still elements of consciousness that are still observing that tree.
Right.
But within my own personal universe, that tree does not exist.
Yep.
Until I am able to observe the tree.
Because it's about firsthand account testimony and experience. If we're here for anything, it's to experience life. Because if we're not here, we're experiencing something other than life, other than this life.
I like what you said, except for the part of if we're here for anything. I don't think that there is some grandiose purpose of our existence. We create purpose for our existence.
That's exactly what I'm getting at by what I'm saying. Is it literally, because, and that's where I'm getting at by we are gods. I'm not saying we are gods. I'm not nobody's God except for my own imagination's God. That's it.
Right.
That's exclusively where it ends. My jurisdiction ends where my lips, like that's it.
I understand. I'm with you. And that's all there is to it. There is no outside God force that's I'm living purposefully for. That there is this is the purpose of life. Because if God would be the biggest waster of energy than anything else if it was the creator of this universe. Just look at our solar system. How much energy is being wasted for non-life?
Let's go back to the Bible. Wouldn't it be more energy efficient to wipe out all of humanity and start with a revamp of everything if you're going to wipe it all out? Like, you don't have the power to make new animals and make new people that are better? Come on now. Shitty God. Shitty God. Shitty bang bang.
You know what? You just took that right out my head. Ooh, shared consciousness.
I saw it. It was like, in the cartoons, how you got that little bubble above your head and it comes in. Yep. I saw shitty bang bang.
Oh, I'm with you. And the thing about it is, if you think about the storyline of Genesis, verse 1, chapter 1, in the beginning, when God began to create, is how it should read. If your Bible doesn't read that way, then you have a poor translation. But in the beginning, when God began to create, the earth was void and without form, and God hovered above the waters. So the earth was in a chaotic state with no life on it, but it had water, right? So obviously, something traumatic had already happened in the universe in order for the earth to be in such a cataclysmic state.
Also, he didn't create the water and he didn't create the earth because the earth was already there and the water was already there and the spirit hovered over the water.
Exactly. So he is not the creator of all the elements that were in existence. He is molding from a situation where things were already there.
Yep.
And of course, I know that they get this from the Babylonians, so I know where the answer ends up.
Right.
But so he's creating from, and then he creates man, and then man disappoints him. And maybe he left Noah. I'm just being devil's advocate now to your statement earlier. Maybe he left Noah. He started over with Noah because the previous time he started over fresh with man, and it messed up because according to Enoch, his previous kids came down and had sex with men's daughters. So he just said, well, fuck it. I'll just save a couple of people. I found one dude who's righteous, and maybe he will be infectious and be righteous towards everybody else, even though he wasn't infectious in leading everybody else towards righteousness in the first place. But maybe he'll pass it down through the generations.
There's a key thing there. You said it a couple of times. It's one word. The word is righteousness. Righteousness is based off of morality, which are subjective. and righteousness is a compound word meaning right choices.
Right. The right choice to
So
believe and
right
follow this
choices
God.
based off of this God's morality, you're fucked.
Oh, of course. It's based on his narcissistic behavior.
Right choice in words.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which is why we know it's a whole bunch of bullshit.
Right.
And for anyone who was guessing, the reason why the earth was in chaos and was without form and void is because they are copying the story of Marduk killing Tiamat and using the dismembered body of Tiamat to create the earth. Is basically
which
where
is
they're
very similar, very, very oddly similar to the story of the beginning of the Mayan Codex.
Mm-hmm.
Where it starts off with, in the beginning, there was God and the spirit, and the spirit hovered over the water. It's like the same startup. Almost like somebody stole something somewhere along the lines.
Yeah. And then they mix in another reason why they use water is because they start to mix in the Egyptian story, the Sumerian story of Anu and Namu, or Jeb and Nut, where the waters need to be separated in order for the dry land to appear. So they incorporate
which
those
is the
stories.
That's
so the
the
Bible,
game. Yep.
Yeah. It's a hobbling of a bunch of stories together. All right. We're gonna put this shit together no matter how clunky it is. Mm-hmm. We're just gonna throw this shit in here and try to make it into a narrative that fits.
I wonder if a particular Jewish historian would have an understanding of how that hovel was put together, like a very specific, clear understanding, so much so that they could do things like recreate stories with a little bit of twist, kind of like the Moses story where all of the babies were getting all of the Egyptians were getting killed and stuff, and Moses was saved.
Yeah.
And then it was Jesus was saved, and then he went to Egypt. Almost like that story was copied, not word for word,
but changed just enough and to fit the era that is being written.
Yes, because you had Hermetics coming in, influencing the Jewish people during the time of the uproar or uprising of the Maccabees, however you want to call it. And if you look in those writings, you'll kind of see it, how it plays out, how Rome was making a claim to the Jewish throne, and they needed a in. So they brought somebody foreign and made a story to get the Flavians into power. Wait a second, I figured it out. It's propaganda.
Yes, it is all propaganda. And that's the beauty. That's the thing that they cannot see. The Old Testament being modified. Yeah, Old Testament there was probably a version of it written during Hezekiah and Josiah. There was a version. Some other stuff was written.
I don't disagree. There was scrolls written, but I don't think it was intentionally collected as this is the holy scripture of.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen. See, that didn't happen. There was, so you're right. So the reason why I was saying that, some scrolls were probably written by some very intelligent people who knew about the Assyrians and Akkadians and Sumerians. They knew about Emperor Sargon and how he was floated down a river. Those stories transformed, flowed down until they get to the Babylonian captivity and then the Greeks and the Persians. But during the era of the Greeks is where you really see the modernization of the Bible, or the Hellenization of the Torah. And that's when they put it together.
That's it.
That's when they canonized it.
The Hellenization. And
then,
what is Hellenization but Hermetics?
Exactly. Because by that time frame, the Greeks had known about the Hermetics. They had worked their way through it. They had gained that knowledge. What was his name? What's the dude who started in Kronos? Not Kronos. What's the Greek dude who went to the mystery schools in Mesopotamia? Then he went to the mystery schools in Egypt. He created Greek civilization.
I know who you're
Pythagoras.
talking about. He was Jewish.
Pythagoras.
Yes, Pythagoras. He was Jewish.
He was from Croton.
Look at his the if you look at the old documents, the Greek people.
Huh?
No, they were. I'm telling. I'll find it and I'll bring it up.
Pythagoras. You're saying Pythagoras was Jewish? I'm not accepting that.
Look at the Pythagorean theory, and then look at the writings of what the fuck is his name? Philo of Alexandria. They're very, very, very likened to each other.
Pythagoras was Greek, man.
What it was Greek though? Like we're looking at it from something where we don't have a cultural understanding of how things were and family lines and stuff. We're basing this all off of some stories that we know are bullshit.
I mean, I know he studied under some. He's, you know, a lot of people like to think that he just went to Egypt and studied in Egypt, but he studied. I mean, he studied under
Philo, most likely.
Jewish people. Who?
No, he's most likely.
Pythagoras is 570 BCE.
Yeah. I'm thinking of.
You might be thinking about somebody else. You know the Pythagorean theorem?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Why am I thinking they were contemporaries?
No.
Sorry, I'm pulling a Christian on you.
No. No. So he went to Croton, and he is the one who really created the Greek civilization. When he opened his Pythagorean schools, I mean, later on the Greeks treated him like trash, but yeah. Now he did study. That's what I'm saying. He left Croton. He's from Samos, but he left Croton, and he went and studied under the Mesopotamian scholars, the Assyrian, the Babylonians, some Jewish scholars, learned some Eastern stuff, and then went to Egypt, spent 20 years in Egypt, then came back to Croton, and then he started his Pythagorean school of philosophies and mathematics. And from the Pythagoreans, the development of the Greek culture came about. Now, there was already a Greek culture, but he really, he was the big lifter up, the guy who changed their culture through his schools. I
know that they were originally a very nomadic type, or a very tribal type people. Very tribal. Like they were very separated. They would enslave each other without a problem.
Yeah, I mean, the Spartans didn't like the Athenians didn't like the whoever else. Yeah. But
right.
And so the thing about it is Pythagoras kind of began that process that brought Greece together. And, people like Socrates and Plato and Aristotle, these people lineage goes back to the Pythagorean schools and Pythagorean philosophies. Yep. So he was the initiator of building the more unified Greeks, so that by the time we get into the 2nd century, because he's 6th century. So by the time we get into the 2nd century, the Greeks have now become this big, powerful nation that goes out and conquers the Levant, among other places, all the way over to Persia. Well, all the way over to India, basically. And so the 2nd century BCE.
Don't you mean Hindustan? Don't you mean Hindustan?
Well, yeah, it
wasn't India.
Well, it should be Industan. Shouldn't even be Hindu. It should be Indus.
Right. It should be Industan because it's the Indus Valley.
Yeah, it should be Industan. So, but by that time frame, they had their literature, they had their styles, they had their mathematics, they had all these different things that you can see. The Torah took its final shape from their style, from their thinking, from their creativity, right?
That might be what I'm thinking that the Jews took from. I know Judaism and Greeks go hand in hand.
No, through that Hellenization process, yeah, they did.
Right. And that's really, I'm going to have to check my information because obviously I need to be correct or be corrected.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the beauties. That's why I will go and look up something. I don't mind being corrected. It's fine for me.
Right.
But yeah, so when you think about what was the subject matter on this part? Kind of lost myself. I lost my train of thought.
Greeks and Jewish, the connection between the two.
I mean, well, they rewrote their stories to fit more of the Greek ideas, like for instance, heaven and hell, devils, God and devil, the separation of God and the devil. There was no devil in Israelite in Hebrew teachings until they became Hellenized. There was no tormenting hell until they became Hellenized, because they took on not only from the Zoroastrians of Ahura Mazda and Agramenia, but they took on Zeus and Hades. They look at Hades, the afterlife, as being heaven and hell, because there's Elysium and then there's Tartarus. And this was still prevalent through first century when Jesus and Paul was supposedly walking around, which is why they called it Hades, which is why they called it Tartarus, and because they were Hellenized. And so, yes, Josephus was Hellenized. Philo was Hellenized.
Yeah.
All the Herods were Hellenized.
Yes.
So and they shared women. They had their own Epstein thing going on with was it Herod Antipas's daughter or something, sister or daughter?
Yeah. They were all kinds of inbred and fucking each other. Yes, they were not. It's I've been watching a very interesting series, and I'm not looking to advocate or anything, but it's The Man in the High Tower. Have you ever seen it?
Mm-mm.
As a military man, it might be very interesting for you.
Basically, the Nazis take over.
No, they didn't take over. They won the war. And it's a very, very, like, you look at it, you're like, wait a second, that's today's reality right here. Who won that war? And then you look at the information that's coming out of Venezuela, and it's like, really interesting that Venezuelan government certifies this information to be true.
No, I haven't seen that. I don't watch the news.
I'm not saying it's definitely not mainstream. Venezuela, basically they came out and said, yeah, Hitler lived here till he's like in his 80s.
Oh, okay. Well, now I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Well, I mean, you go to certain parts of Venezuela and you're walking into Bavaria.
What is it? Venezuela? I thought they all went to Argentina.
Argentina, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Venezuela is where the Klansmen went. Like if you look at South America, there's so much white supremacy in South America. It's stupid.
Argentina was one of those places that I was looking up and researching of cost of living, but living in a beautiful place. Argentina is one of those places.
Mm-hmm.
Not for Black people.
Why? Right.
If I want to go live in a place that reminds me of early 1980s South, I can go to Argentina.
Oh yeah. And that's why I go to that movie where I'm like, that show, because I'm like, wait a second, there's so much, and like the whole system of the Nazis government and how it works and everything. Like, I'm just sitting there doing one of these, like, I've seen this before somewhere.
I know.
It's kind of like,
wait, hold on for a second. Stop writing in all caps, please. Mossad agency, stop writing in all caps.
Well, that makes sense.
The only way if you think that's the way of getting attention, you'll get the wrong attention. And this person is stupid. Blacks need white people to exist.
What?
Oh, we have a racist on. Oh, we got a racist on here. We have
little racist.
Yes, they think that Black people can't do shit without white people. We can't exist without white people. Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna say bullshit. I'm clearly gonna call bullshit on that.
Yeah.
Not only am I gonna call bullshit, but I'm gonna give some facts. White men are not the majority, other than in words. If you go in any major metropolitan area in the United States, you will clearly see that there is a vast diversity of people, and the white man is not one of the major people in those roles. Now, if you go to the rural country up here in the north, you'll see a lot of white folks, yeah. But down in the south, oh, that's a different story, because there's a lot of melanated, good old country boys that'll rock your world. I'm just saying, like, let's be realistic. And if that good old white boy down there, and I say white boy as in when you act like a man, I'll treat you like a man. But until then, well, I'll whip your ass like a boy. If he would like to come up to Minnesota and kindly, meet me for coffee here in the Twin Cities, I would happily buy you some coffee, sir.
Sure. I like when they put
stuff. I've got to take care of my own before I could ever walk into yours and expect you to take care of mine.
Mm-hmm. But I like when they say things like this. When they say stuff like, "Where in the world do they exist without our help?" Right? Where do black people exist without the help of white people? And a lot of this is in disregarding of history. First of all, it disregards history. But let's not utilize history. We don't need to go through the whole colonization process. The fact that black people were living perfectly fine on their own in Africa, no problem. People were living in India on their own, no problem. Japanese people on their own, no problem. Chinese on their own, no problem. That it was colonization and imperialism that disrupted those people's lives. We don't even need to go back to all of that, because people can only see the history based on what they're living in today. But let's look at a situation that I personally was involved in and know about, and that is Rwanda. Now, the colonizing Belgian people just abruptly left, and they left a corrupted style of government, which erupted into a civil war. Now, did any European nations or American nations go in there and fight? Did they shut it down? Did they do anything about it? No, they didn't. But Kagame came in and fixed that shit with his coalition. And then since 1995 to now, Rwanda has become one of the most industrious and one of the most cleanest and one of the safest countries in the world.
Isn't that where that one general from? That dude that's like fixing Africa, kind of like Gaddafi did. Gaddafi was gangster. Gaddafi was like, "Fuck you and your bullshit currencies. I'll give my people fucking gold." He was not great, but he was a hell of a lot better than anything I've seen.
He's better than most, but I still don't like him. He's still allowed for slavery to occur in his country, so fuck him. But
I agree 100%. However, it was a lot closer to freedom than like.
I understand what you're saying, but he was still, the trans-Sahara slave trade was still going on in his country, so fuck him. But
Nike's still produced by slaves, so fuck them.
That's a different kind of slavery. But we talking about Kagame here.
That's a wage slave.
We're talking about Kagame. This man stopped the genocide that was going on in his country, reorganized the country, made Rwanda for Rwandans. All people are Rwandan. He's like, fuck being a Tutsi or a Hutu. We all Rwandan.
Right.
Over the last 30 years have created a country that is more peaceful, more industrious than most other countries in the world.
Yep.
They literally pay people a living wage to clean the fucking gutters, to the point where you can sit and have a meal in the gutters. Like, that's their job. Right? They've kept control over their inflation. People are not starving and poor as fuck over there. There's more of a larger middle class. The man has done such a great job that he is leading the charge on creating the East African Federation, meaning that there are 9 other East African countries that are like, damn, we want to be like you. And guess who ain't helping them? Europe or America. Did all that shit on his own. Don't need you. It's amazing when people stay out of other people's business how well a country can do on its own. That most of the time when a country gets fucked over, it's because of some outside interference comes in and fucks it up.
And if I may add to that, it's most likely white men that are coming in to fuck it up. So when you're asked about when or where in the world does it exist without the white man's help? The white man's help is, hey, we see you have natural resources. We're going to help ourselves to those natural resources. That's the help that white man, and I am clearly, obviously not very melanated during the winter. But if we're going to look at this as a reality, the less people like you we have in the world, the safer off it is for people like me and this gentleman next to me.
Look at what,
because that kind of hate. Go ahead.
I just thought about who you might be thinking about. You might be thinking about Touré in Burkina Faso. He took over Burkina Faso, and the man is doing a wonderful job. And was like,
dude's just romping on shit.
And he's like, all you Europeans who've been interfering with our country being great, get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out. Yep. 100%.
And here's some more stuff for this little inbred idiot. Ghana has made great strides. Ghana has taken the point of saying, hey, you know what? Go ahead and keep our gold reserve. We'll create our own gold reserve. We'll start over. We don't even need your help. We'll start over. We'll build our own gold reserve. We'll make our own money more valuable. We'll make our own country more valuable. We don't need your damn help. And they've been doing great. And guess what? Hundreds of thousands of black people from all over the world have been running to Ghana, making it better. Ghana, you will see Ghana become an economic power in the next 20 to 30 years. And guess who ain't? And that's not because some European came in there and helped them out.
Can we go to some American history? Let's go to some American history. Where did the premise of our Constitution come from? Was it not a combination between the treaties of the North American Indians and the what is it? The agreement? The Constitution was basically a mix between the
it's British common law, Roman law, and Native American treaties.
Yes, those the French thing. What is the fucking? Basically, they all got together and said, "We're going to kill you unless you don't be such a fucking tyrant." You know what it's one of the premises of our Constitution. I'm sure somebody's down in the chat that's smart.
You're gonna kill you if you don't be a tyrant. Who's saying they're gonna kill somebody? Who? It'll help me if I knew who you was talking about. You're not talking about the treaties between the 5 civilized tribes, are you?
No. It's European. It's French. Something, not the compact. It was from the French Revolution.
The Magna Carta.
That's it. It was a combination between treaties from North America, the Magna Carta, common law, which is that's where the common law comes in, is the Magna Carta, and then the Roman law. And Roman law is only Roman because they keep on moving that shit around.
People, even though Rome had a lot of fuckery, there were some Roman laws that were pretty damn good. You know,
there's some general concepts that make sense.
Yeah, and it would make sense to carry forward the idea of a republic without an emperor, but to have a republic. And really, the presidency is a temporary emperor with a whole lot of checks and balances, though.
I would say more like a CEO.
Even better. Chairman of the board, CEO. Yeah.
Yep. But that's really all he is because he has a board to answer to. That's Congress and Senate. He actually has 2 boards to go through.
But to go back to America, but to look at American history in concern with what this idiot said, with what Gino the racist said, the Mississippi River Basin tribes built cities. Like if you go and research, I think where Memphis is, the city that that tribe built was more industrious, had plumbing, it was magnificent.
Oh yeah.
Until they were interfered with. Oh man, I gotta find.
Well, no, they were helped. Remember?
Yeah. How can they be?
They were helped.
They built it before the motherfuckers came.
No. They were helped. Like rednecks and hillbillies like this dumbass have no concept or understanding of what Manifest Destiny did to the Americas.
Right.
Like, I bet you he's never even heard of Manifest Destiny.
Oh, I would damn sure believe that he probably hasn't heard of it, or he, think that was a good thing.
Nor has he heard about the vagabond laws. Nor does he know what a vagabond is. Nor does he know that Henry Ford and Thomas Edison, that said they were vagabonds, came out and gave us fucking trinkets instead of allowing us to be able to think and be human beings. You know, it's kind of interesting. You know, when you look at the long-term effects of what gadgets and gizmos have done to the psyche of Americans. Other countries don't deal with that.
It's destroying the brains of Americans, and it's continuity with nature. We spend so much time on that bullshit. And I just wanted to download a picture and bring it up real quick, if it works right, of a rendering of what one of those. And I think this is where the city of Memphis wound up being located. But before, oh shit, that's the wrong thing. Before American influence came in, the Native Americans along the Mississippi Basin were living like this,
like kings.
Civilization, farming, irrigation, plumbing, schools, was doing great, did not need anyone's help. See, the problem with countries, with the problem with Europe, is that Europe, their population overgrew their ability to farm the land, fish the seas. So they had a necessity to create more inventions. And through that necessity to create more inventions, it gave them technologies, and they felt superior because of that technology. But that technology came out of necessity to survive. But then their mentality changed with that superiority, because now they think that, oh, we are better because we have this. But what you have has corrupted you. It has corrupted your society. And so you go and destroy other societies. What they should have done. What they should have done. Wait a minute. Let me finish this.
Go ahead.
What they should have done is, when they came to these people in this Mississippi Basin and saw what they had created because of the vastness of the land to provide, is say, damn, you know what? We need to backtrack. We don't need to destroy this. We need to emulate this, because now we don't have to force ourselves, or we can improve this. Not destroy it, let's improve it. Let's add our technology to what you already have to make an even greater society, since the landmass is so vast that it can now provide for an enormous amount of people. It's what they should have done if they had more of a Hermetic alchemical mindset. But instead, they had a Christian dominant superiority mindset. And what were you going to say?
It's not just destroying the, if there is, let me backtrack. If there is a spiritual aspect to mankind, 100%. And I say if 100%, it is being destroyed by the technologies, even within our own hands, because it's literally alchemy. It's high alchemy, the technology that we have. So it's literally, by biblical definitions, sorcery.
True.
And tell me I'm lying. You
No,
know,
you're not.
like, and so when we look, and then I'm not saying that I don't agree with much of anything of the Bible. However, when you think about things like, I don't want you to come to my house to murder me, so I'm not going to go to your house with the intention to murder you. And we'll let it make sure, you know, as long as I'm coming over with a couple of eggs and you come over with a couple of, you know, maybe a chicken every once in a while, then we can cohabitate. And we don't need dumb rednecks to get involved and say, well, you're 3/10 of a man because you have melanin. In fact, if anything, you have more melanin. So that would make me technically less, if anything. Now, I'm not a self-hating white man, because that would be dumb. I definitely trace my origin right back down to the Nordics. You know, the people that would slice people's heads off for just claiming they're Christians. But then we fucked too much, and that screwed that up.
The only reason why you have less melanin is because at some point your ancestors migrated from Africa into Europe and wore heavier clothing, had less of a need for melanin because of a different angle of the sun, a change in diet. And so because of that, over generations, the skin lightened.
And proof to that is they call it a French braid. Notice the similar, the French, see? Meaning that my people used to look like him.
Yeah. So
yep, my people used to look just like that.
But and it's just an adaptation. That's all. It's just an adaptation.
Yep.
But it is, you know, when they did move up into those areas, you know, they're migrating. People are curious. People want to find shit out. But then they lose connections. Now, one of the things that I do love is the fact that the fastest growing group of people walking away from Christianity and embracing Hermeticism and alchemy is white people. It's white people. Black people staying stuck on religion. They are the most difficult group to walk away from this. But it is the white people who are waking up to this thing faster than any other group in America. So, and in Europe too. This is why Europe is becoming more secular of a country. But the more secular they become, the more secular America becomes, then we should see, as we have seen, a decrease in racism, a decrease in imperialism, right? This is why I will say all the time, America is better now than it's ever been. And I even can appreciate, this is hard for me to say it, but I can even appreciate what that dude in office is doing right now. That
hurts.
Well, understand it from this point of view. Hold on. Understand it from this point of view.
It just tastes so bad.
I know. I grew up in Georgia. In Georgia, our racists were, they let you know they're racist.
They did.
One of the things that I hated about going to other parts of the country is you didn't know. A joker would be smiling in your face while he's stabbing you in the back. You know what I'm saying? What is, Nub fell. You fell off, Nub. Understand, hold on, Kevin. What this dude has done in his ignorance is he has emboldened them all over the country to come out and stand proud and strong. So now they're easily identified. That's the part that I'm saying that I appreciate. What I appreciate is that they are easily identified, that they are not hiding like they used to. I can go, if I've never been to the city of New York, just the airport, and the hotel connected to the airport. but they show themselves now. It's like the South when they identify, they let you know I'm a racist bastard. So he's allowed them to come out and show who they are. That's the only part. There ain't much of nothing else that I appreciate from him, other than the fact that, actually he's a huge disappointment to me. He had what I thought from the 1980s and 90s version of him. He had what I thought would be the potential to be good, to be a good president, but he has proven that he is not.
Yeah.
But at least now, that motherfucker over there is racist. Or that motherfucker over there is an imperialist. You know who you're dealing with. And that's the only part that I'm saying I can appreciate, is that he's made these fools seem safe. That he made these fools think that they are safe.
I'll definitely agree with you. I actually have a personal story, if I may, and then I'm gonna skedaddle because I've been up here forever. So a while back, when I was younger, I ended up moving from Southside Minneapolis, the neighborhood George Floyd got killed in. That's the neighborhood I grew up in. I am a rare one. I'm a little white chocolate and a lot of chocolate chips. At any rate, I drank the same water, dude. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
The same fucking water. At any rate, I went a couple of months back to help my uncle. And this is my blood uncle. This is my mom's twin. Okay.
Right.
And I'm helping him. And I had gone from here to the middle of nowhere, bumfuck Egypt, Pennsylvania. And I'm there and I'm working. And it was around Easter. And my other uncle came. And I already knew my other uncle. He's not a blood uncle, but I already knew he was like a big time racist. He's one of those, he'll let you know. And that was even before Trump. He was definitely, yeah. We've had our tiffs, he and I. So we've never seen eye to eye because obviously growing up in the hood, I have a little bit different perspective, like just a little bit. So I'm there for the Easter holiday, and I don't celebrate bullshit holidays, but I needed to eat, and everybody was there, and that's the time the dinner was. So they're all sitting around, and they're talking about Trump, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my two uncles and the guests that they had started talking about white supremacy. As if it was like this open and legit subject that was acceptable. And I looked at him, I was like, you three gentlemen do realize that my son is Mexican, and if you continue with this, I might have to do something. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say I have personal firsthand hillbillies and rednecks in my family, oh yes, it was a very, very Easter. It was completely Christian of them. I mean, fit time, and it was while I was going through a lot of my deconstruction, and my uncle is a big time Christian. Both of them are.
Uh-huh.
I'm just looking at it like, the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, seriously, are you? And these are like, he's a college educated man. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck if you got a piece of paper. You're still fucking retarded.
Yeah. College doesn't mean you're more you're more civilized.
Well, who wants to be of the cult of the civilies?
Huh?
Who wants to be of the cult of the civilies?
I'm just saying, people think that, they went to college, so that makes them better. And it doesn't. It just means you can pass it. You can study some bullshit, learn some bullshit, and study and take a test and pass it or write a paper. That's it.
No, it means you were a sucker and traded a couple of 100,000 for a piece of paper. Yeah, that's all that means. Because I've been doing just fine and I ain't got none of that shit. Boy, howdy, let me tell you. I'm still smarter than the average redneck hillbilly.
But I love the fact that these people now feel like they can say and do what they want to do. Yes, it's caused some problems, but at least you know what you're dealing with. I always would rather know my enemy than to have an enemy smiling in my face and think that they are my ally. And then as soon as I turn my back, they stabbing the shit out of it. So don't smile in my face.
Don't you worry. Don't you worry. When that white devil come up in behind you, I got your six, buddy. I'll take care of you white devils. We'll go to Django on these motherfuckers.
Yeah, but
you got the hat and shit, so and I got the beard of the one dude. That one dude that like I pretended to own you to get onto the plantation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got that beard and I got the hillbilly hair. All I need is a good old Confederate hat, and we'd be damn near the Django in and out. We'd be just fine. We'd free all them peoples.
We would be. It would be.
I'm sorry, but you got to be kind of fucking retarded to be like that hillbilly down there in the chat room. So
yeah, you would have to be, but that's what this dude has allowed for them to come out and feel safe. And what they don't realize is that the overwhelming majority of America is not on their side.
No.
They are not on their side. There was. I saw this story. I don't know if it's AI or not. I still have to check it. Oh wow, I'm getting flagged for hate speech on TikTok.
I'm the only one speaking, and I'm white. Yeah. So TikTok, you're wrong.
That's why I don't like TikTok. I can't stand that shit. It is such. It's censorship on TikTok, like a champ. But shit, what was I about to say?
Oh, Daniel-san, you must not make very bad things to influence others with bad words and language. This is TikTok.
Oh,
we have those strict.
Yeah, I now remember. So there was this video. I do have to check and see if it was AI because some of it looked a little crazy. But this woman, she challenges this man who had moved into this apartment, and he had been living in this apartment for over a year. And she challenges him and calls the police on him. And it turns out that the man that she was challenging was the chief of police, right? And it's supposed to happen in Detroit. And the backlash of it is that the man sued the woman for $120,000 for detriment, slander, or some shit like that.
Defamation of character.
Defamation of character. The woman wound up losing her job, right? And she lost all her friendships. People avoided her like the plague, and she is paying the punishment for it. So I love the fact that they feel like they can come out and say whatever they want to say and be who they are, but they are suffering the consequences of that. The next stage, and one of the things that pisses me off is when I see people being treated like, this is something that Black people need to learn how to do. Stop taking a shit. When you got a Karen or a Kevin,
yep,
call the police on that motherfucker. Pop that motherfucker.
When call the police. Yeah,
I know it's hard for Black people to call the police because we don't trust the police as much. You never know if you're gonna get the wrong one. But the overwhelming majority of cops are cool. The overwhelming majority of cops are going to do the right thing, right? The majority. But you don't know if you're going to get that crazy one, which is why we have a reluctancy to call, right? But
it's always that damn crazy one.
Yeah, I'm going to call if I ever find myself in that situation, and it goes to a point where the person is actually harassing me, because I found myself in a minor situation, but it was easily handled. But if I find myself in a major one, I'm calling on your ass. If you're trying to prevent me from entering a place that I live in, I'm having you arrested. You on my property acting stupid, I'm having your ass arrested. And I'm recording the whole thing. And if I do get that one bad cop, I'm recording this motherfucker too. You about to get thrown off this shit, right? So
yeah, I have a little bit different of outlook on that particular aspect, but I'll agree to disagree on that particular aspect.
you
I've
don't think
had
we should call the
different,
cops on them?
um, I'll put it this way. I was one of those children that when the streetlights came on, that's when we came home. So if
Right.
you want to fuck around, well,
If I got video recording, because see, I don't trust our justice system. Only so if I got some video recording going on and someone accosts me, then yeah, I'm gonna whoop that ass. I understand what you're saying. I'm gonna take it, whoop that ass, and it's over. But at least I need the video demonstrated that they initiated.
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh
you know,
yeah.
if you go before a judge, your word against my word, most judges gonna choose your word over my word. So unless I
Which is
got some
actually
video,
ironically, which is treason by definition. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when you signed up for the military, you signed a FARA document, the Foreign Agency Registration Act of 1937. It would have been in your packet.
I probably. Why? What does it
Yeah,
say?
that it says, in fact, all agents of the government are in fact foreign to the American people.
Oh,
It's the whole concept. It's where the well, as the government comes from, it's where the sovereign citizens come from, because you know the government supports sovereign citizens now.
I ain't seen nobody. I ain't seen nobody get that shit. So I ain't.
You didn't see that? Come on, you had to have said. He's up there talking about goddamn sovereign citizens like it's a term that actually makes sense.
I've seen a whole
That's
bunch
like
of people
saying loving Christian.
I've seen a whole bunch of people go to jail on a traffic
Mhm.
ticket for claiming that bullshit. I've seen that.
Well,
I
you
ain't seen
don't.
nobody get out of a
I have.
traffic ticket
I
or
have. I've
nothing
seen quite a
because of
bit.
that. No, I haven't.
I have.
And,
Well, it's
and I'm
not
one
the
of those. I'm
let
one of those
me
crazy
retract
people who
that.
just go and sit in courtrooms and just watch.
Oh hell yeah! The
That's some
law
fun
is
shit.
fascinating. Policy and statute and code, absolutely phenomenally fascinating. And I love. Well, here's an example. Um, my local municipality has ordinances and rules about the condition of this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
Okay. My neighbors got together because they don't like me because I'm kind of boisterous and I'll tell you to fuck off if I think you need to go fuck yourself. You know, that simple. Well, they got together and collaborated in a couple of notices to the city saying that I was breaking their little rules. Well, came back with it and said, you want a 1983 case?
Mm-hmm.
They haven't done much with it. In fact, they've been after me, but I've just been simply working through the court system, showing them that their policies need to have conditional acceptance or just acceptance, and it's a contract because it's all based in contract. But that's a whole different story for a whole different channel and a whole different panel.
Right.
So
yeah. Now, I ain't gonna lie. If somebody was able to get that money that they was always talking about with the sovereign citizenship bullshit, I would then find it more interesting. Get that
I
money.
would definitely say that going at it with the sovereign citizen concept is just complete sheer ignorance and ludicrous. You are literally half fucking retarded and fully dumb. However, the common law,
oh, go ahead.
the common law, on the other hand, if you approach it as common law and know your way around the legal system, and I'm not advocating that anybody do this, I'm saying do this at your own risk with your own research, because if it's not your own, it's somebody else's, and that's just like the Bible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Real quick. I need y'all to give me a whole bunch of hearts on TikTok, because whoever is trying to say that this is hate speech and get my channel shut down or temporarily banned, the way to beat that is for y'all to heart the hell up the TikTok channel. So everybody on TikTok, if you can do me a solid and just press that damn heart, just tap, tap, tap that screen 50, 11 million times, I greatly appreciate it. But let me let somebody else get up here.
Deuces,
Right.
much love. Enjoy yourself. Have fun with the retarded Christians.
Appreciate you. Later. We have a TikToker that wants to come up. Let's see. Marquise. If you want to come up, you have to hit the thing that to invite yourself up to the. I don't send out invitations. Oh, I guess Marquise did it by accident. I know when you're hearting it, sometimes you might hit the invite thing, the request. But yeah, I need y'all to heart that thing up on TikTok so that the whatever soft emotional ass person who like that's hate speech. One thing that somebody did post that I thought was also good. Where was it? I know who did it. I know who said it. So let me find them. This is also a true statement. He said that Trump, Prince Adunfor, said that Trump has also caused a lot of white people who are good human beings to come out too. And that is a true statement as well. Because a lot of people who were just, sitting on the sidelines, thinking that everything will just naturally get better, who are white in America, have seen some of their neighbors and some of their community come out with all this bullshit, and they have been stepping up. That No Kings March was interesting because these were white people who are saying, to hell with this. This is not our people. I'm not part of this group. I am different. So that's great. Both houses, both of Congress, the Senate and the House, saying bring out them Epstein files. And it's been mostly the pressure of white people that's getting the Epstein files out there. I think that is great. So yes, it has had that effect as well. He has had that effect as well. I don't think it's intentional, but I'm glad that it happened, because I think that is the way that is the pathway for this country and the world to get better, is that we have to face our challenges. We can't just sit back and hope things get better. The Christian mind says that we're going to sit back and Jesus is going to return and everything's going to get better. No, things can only get better in this world if we become the causal factor of making this world better. This is why the Hermetics are much better than Christianity, because Christianity sits back and says, let's hope that the world gets better. Geez, the world, and actually Christianity says that the world has to get worse and the world needs to get worse so that Jesus will return, because all they want is heaven. They want the world to end. They want Armageddon to happen. They want the Antichrist to come. They want a third of the population to die. They want all the water to be turned into blood. They want all the water to be poisoned by wormwood. They want earthquakes and destruction and desolation to happen all over the planet so that Jesus will return, so that they can go to heaven and be mindless zombies and worship this God for all eternity, and for people to be thrown into this lake of fire. That is the desire of Christianity. Every Christian has to have that desire in order to claim that you are Christian. Without that, you can't want a better world and call yourself Christian. You have to want a worse world, a horrible world. You have to want people getting their heads chopped off by guillotines. You have to want for these locust beasts to be going around stinging people and they're sick for 5 months. You have to want all these dramatically intense things to happen all over the world if you're Christian. But if you are Hermetic, then your desires for the world to get better. The world becomes more unified. The world becomes more peaceful. People function on a higher vibration. People function on a higher morality, which is more of what the world has become and is becoming, which goes against the Christian doctrine. So the world is certainly better as a Hermetic world than the world will ever be as a Christian world. because the Christian world has brought forth nothing but death and destruction, destroyed civilization, destroyed families, destroyed the individual person. That's all that it has done. It has not brought forth any betterment to societies, because everything that you can find in Christianity that is good was already here. It was already here. The Native Americans already had justice systems that provided equal and fair treatment to the people within their communities. They still treated women like trash, but their civilizations were more peaceful. They had a more sharing community. They weren't seeking to go, and they had wars, but they didn't have genocidal wars. They had wars over necessities, wars over needs. They didn't fight each other over religion, nor did they force people to believe in what they believe in. If your tribe believed in the Thunderbird, and you believed in the Thunderbird. If your tribe believed in the Sky People, your tribe believed in the Sky People. Okay, respect. Didn't have that. Christianity came, destruction followed. You cannot name one civilization that Christianity took over and destruction didn't follow. That I challenge all my Christians who are listening to these channels right now, whether you're listening to it now or you're listening to it later. What civilization did Christianity come to and their civilization was better off? Because they brought slavery. They brought economic disparagement. They brought racism. Now, all the motherfuckers treated women poorly. But there's not. Sphinx, New York, I know you said something about joining this situation. You have to send up a request in order to do so. If you want to come onto the show, you have to hit the request button. When Christianity took over Rome, garbage truck outside. When Christianity took over Rome, Christianity then went, and if you did not follow the Roman Orthodox Christianity, they killed you. They went and destroyed everyone. Now, Rome was already destroying other people's civilization, but at least you had the opportunity to become a Roman citizen, and your religion was respected. Once Theodosius made Christianity the government of Rome, made Christianity the religion of Rome, they went about killing and murdering anyone who did not conform to their Christianity. So Christianity brought destruction, even with Rome. And if you continue on forward to any other civilization thereafter, it brought more and more destruction. And we're going to bring out Sphinx, New York. I got to be careful with my New Yorkers. I don't know which one they are. Sphinx, are you? Oh, okay. I got to check because, I got a couple of crazy New Yorkers. Yeah.
I was trying to make it to your Texas situation that you had, but I wasn't, like at first it took me back to find information. Then by the time I did get through, I couldn't like buy my space in or whatever. But whatever else you have or something like that, I'll probably just DM you my number so you could just call me, because like trying to find this stuff on the internet sometimes could be a hassle. So
okay, well, we're doing a cruise next year.
Man, that's next year, bro. I'm a New Yorker. We move fast. Like, you gotta tell me about something within the next couple of weeks. Don't tell me about next year, man.
Well, I have, people plan those kind of things in advance. Like the cabins on this particular boat are already filling up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I have to tell you about that one. Like me and my wife put our $100 down last month, and we got on the 9-month payment plan. So,
right. Well, with the information I need from you, I would like to speak to you about it offline. It's mainly around monetizing and stuff like that. That's really it.
Wait. I am doing a seminar on Eventbrite. I am doing a seminar. 9 businesses that you should start for 2026. That's December 14th, where I'm doing a seminar on that. And I'm really going to break down, when I break down a business, I break the shit down as to how to start it, what your angle should be, your marketing should be, how to get it started, what your projections, what kind of projections you should have for it, the whole 9. And there's some things that I don't know if you're doing them or not, but there's some things that some ideas I have for you that.
Well, I'm an atheist rap artist, and I do Afro pop music, and I shoot music videos for bigger artists.
Mm-hmm.
So I work with bigger artists and stuff like that. Like I contribute to I'm not even going to name drop, but I contribute to bigger artists and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the video stuff, like even my Sprinter stuff, my Sprinter band is literally like a studio. Like I record songs in the Sprinter, and I also shoot and edit videos, and I use the Sprinter for that. So I know that I'm missing some things. That's why I would like to be a part of whatever you're talking about, because I think that'll fill the gap for the things that I need. So. Like I said, I'm with whatever seminar that you have coming up, especially within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll DM you my information so that way you can contact me. I don't want to keep trying to reach you like this. You're busy. You're over here talking to the people, so I don't want to hold you up. But I'll send my information. Just give me a call. We chop it up so that way I can get in line with your situations.
Yeah, because I can't send you I don't know how to send the Eventbrite link on TikTok. But when you send me your information,
just call me. Just call me, guy. Just call me.
Yeah, when I get your info, we can get that situated. But because I was already planning on using you as an example of some of the things that I'm gonna talk about on there.
Nah, you talk about a lot of stuff, and I've been following you for a while. I've been following you on Instagram. I've been following you on TikTok and stuff. I do a deconstruction live at nighttime too. So you're very inspiring. You know what I'm saying, and I'm sure a lot of people who follow you will feel the same, other than the people that haven't deconstructed yet. But you know what I'm saying. So I'm making my way in those things. I've always been an atheist rap artist, but to get on TikTok and to see so many deconstruction lives, and yours being one of the top, like one of my top 5s. It's a great community to have for people that think like we do. So however I can support. I'm with it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I would love for you to be there, because then I can, not only am I using the examples, but I can talk to you directly. You can respond directly to some of the things that I'm going to talk about. Like, I don't know if you're using AI yet or what level you're using it. Like, are you using? Yeah. Are you using AI?
I'm only using AI as far as like ChatGPT, because I write scripts for short movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I use it for scripts for short movies because we got a connection with Tubi, and me and my team been helping people shoot their movies and edit their movies and get it on Tubi. So I've been doing like a percentage of that. So like I do video at a high level, not just music videos, but like also like short movies and stuff like that. So
Actually,
I've been using them to write movies.
You might be able to help me out. I've been trying to search for, like, every AI that I find. I've been researching the different AIs right now. I've been looking for one that will allow me to use AI to make long form videos based on text, and then it makes the videos. The ones I found thus far, either the ones that can do long form, the reviews on them suck.
Right. Well, there's a very few amount of AIs that actually do that. Or there's other AI that you could use it, but it's the way you got to use it. Like majority of them are only short form, 5 seconds and stuff like that. You may be able to catch a 10 seconds, but there's a couple of them that use the longer form, but they cost a lot more money.
Yeah.
So another thing is you don't want to start putting your money in that, because I watch people lose a lot of money, because if you put the wrong prompts in there and you don't get what you want, then your money's spent, and you got to start all over.
Right.
So if you don't know how to use it, you're gonna end up in a financial deficit, because those AIs you speak of are a lot more expensive than the 5-second one that you could buy a couple of coins or however they call it.
True. Now, this is why when I talk about business, you have to know what your end result is going to be. For instance, like, I don't know how old you are, I forgot, but you know, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Thundercats were all long form commercials for people to buy toys, for kids to buy toys. So if you know, I saw one, the only one I've seen thus far costs $399 a month, right? That's a big ass investment.
Right.
You have to know that what you're producing is going to bring back the return on that investment.
Right. And honestly, that even if that's kind of cheap, because $300-$400, yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you don't know how to use these things, because even though they charge you at $300-$400, those things are still coin based. So you could only practice with a certain amount of tries, and then that $300-$400 may be spent before a month is over, or you got to wait till the next month or something. So if you don't understand how, put it like this, what I could do for you is this: I can show you how we do scripts on ChatGPT. Because a lot of people don't know how to do it. They don't know what type of prompts to put in. They don't know how to to bend it to give you the kind of information or scripts that you want. So once I show you how to do that, that'll prepare you for those bigger AIs.
Right.
Charge more that can give you longer form content, so that way you don't end up spending. Because I hang with people and I've watched people spend thousands of dollars trying to get AI stuff that they need, and they're still failing.
Right. Because that's what I've been practicing with chat.
I'm trying to walk them back. Be like, listen, come here, start at ChatGPT, see how this works, and then you could graduate to the bigger things. Because if you don't understand the smaller things, the bigger things is gonna just swallow your bread. Your money's gonna jump into an empty void. It's not gonna be pretty. And I don't want to be a part of that either, because then it's gonna be like, you lost your money messing with me. No, let's start from here.
Right. I'm walking that path with you, because the last few months I've been practicing with ChatGPT. To learn the ins and outs of how it works.
Your mic got muffled. I don't know why.
Oh, well, what I was saying is that for the last few months, actually for about the last 6 months, I've been learning the ins and outs of ChatGPT, so that when I do spend money on a larger AI, pretty much I've been doing exactly what you said. I've been practicing with Chat. Most of the shit that I've done with Chat, I do not use. I haven't put it out, because this is just for my own learning, my own practice, right? But I understand what you're saying, because I saw how that Coinbase shit was, and I was like, well, damn, I don't want to waste. I'm not going to waste my money, so I need to get good with this before I actually start utilizing these things.
Right. So what I could do for you personally, we could get on a call, a video call personally, and I could show you one of your ideas, or even one of my ideas. I could show you how to do it, because I'm sure if I show you how to use a ChatGPT, it's most likely not how you ever use ChatGPT. And that'll just give you an idea, like, oh, so this is what I'm gonna do for the bigger ones, and then we can figure out which bigger ones for you to go for in order to make your long content.
Cool, that'll work. That'll work.
So once again, I'm gonna send my number in the chat on TikTok. Just give me a call. I know that there's a lot of things I gotta offer you, because I know you don't know me, but I'm from New York. Anybody from New York, majority of people in New York know me, because I work with. I'm a rap artist, but I also work with majority of the biggest content creators in New York, and I work with big rap artists literally from New York, as far as helping them create content and stuff like that. And I run a video company called I Make Movies. So. But I'm not as known outside of New York, other than the people that frequent New York.
Right. I'm with you.
So I'm sure there's a lot of things I can offer you. And anyway, and you definitely deserve a documentary, but we'll talk about that another time.
Okay, that's cool. We will.
Be close to your mic.
No, that I was saying, my bad. That's cool. We will. Yeah, I know. I got to figure. I ordered a little mic system that should help me with the mic with TikTok version.
I know which mic. I'll tell you which mic. There's $150 mic that you could probably get from Micro Center or Best Buy. It's a USB-C mic. It's really, really dope. Everybody swears by it.
But does it allow for the sound to still come out?
I'll give it to you. Huh?
It has to allow for the sound to still come out, so that the people on the other platforms can hear what you're saying. I don't want to have to put something in my ear.
Right. I think you don't like putting stuff in your ear.
Well, the thing about it is that, let's say I have a mic right now that I can plug into TikTok, and I can listen to you, plug into my phone, and I can listen to you, but no one else on Facebook or YouTube will be able to hear you, because StreamYard is supposed to be able to allow me to stream directly to TikTok as well, so that everybody's in one spot. Right. But the key that TikTok gives it never works with StreamYard.
Yeah, TikTok is a bad actor when it comes to these streaming sites. They're the hardest one. It's easier to do Twitch. It's easier to do even YouTube. But when you trying to get TikTok to behave in the same manner these other platforms has been like a struggle.
Right, and I know some of these other streaming people are utilizing a streaming source that works well with TikTok so that it can stream on all the platforms. But that shit costs a lot more money to utilize. Like, I don't know if you listen to Thinker or Justin with Deconstruction Zone.
Right.
The software they use is not a cheap software in order to stream on all the platforms.
That's funny. You and them are part of my top 5 of deconstruction people. It's funny that you would mention them too. Matter of fact, I got permission from Justin to use some of his stuff so we can use it in movies. So
cool.
So remember I told you I work with like movies and stuff like that. So I asked him for it, but I may have to get him to sign something. But I'm gonna be using some of his talking points in his voice to create a particular piece of content. But
that's on point, man. That's on point.
Oh, maybe I can get you too. So man, but what I need from you is probably stuff that you have done already. I probably have to scrub through your info and just request that I used this particular thing, and we'll work it out.
Okay.
Like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot that I got to offer. Like I said, once you figure out all the stuff that I can do, then you'll see exactly why I'm coming at you in this type of manner. It'll make sense.
Well, we'll definitely set up a conversation. So send me your information, and we'll definitely set up a time that we can talk. And a time where we can have. I don't have anything that's coming up, so that we can have a long conversation.
Right. And if you ever come into New York and the New York area, man, just hit me up. I could be a liaison for the madness of New York. Well, I got a Sprinter van too, so
yeah. I do know that the next time right now, the only time I know I'll be in New York is in August. Now I know that's too far away for you in your timeline, but in August I'll be there for 3 days. We haven't decided. I think we're staying in Brooklyn. Is where we're going to stay. Yeah, I think it's Brooklyn where we say we're going to be staying.
But that's definitely my birth month too. Yeah, we get busy in the summertime, so maybe I could get you out to one of these content days that we have in New York. It's unlike anything ever in any other state.
Okay. All right, that'll work.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, take it easy, man. I'll send my info. We'll talk to you later, man. Peace to everybody in the chat.
All right, peace, bro. I'm telling y'all want to be here. Y'all want to sign up for that Eventbrite. It's gonna be we're gonna have a great conversation. Because it's not just about me. I'll be taking input from the people who are on there. And we're gonna break the shit down. We're gonna break all this shit down. I'm just initiating the ideas, and I'm sure from that initiation there will be more things that I haven't thought about, avenues of approach that are different. So you definitely want to be a part of it. It is not just going to be based on my knowledge, but it's going to be based on the knowledge of the people who are involved in it as well, because everybody brings something to the table, and that's what we're looking for. That's what looking to develop that growth. It's just I've identified 9 different sectors where in 2026 you need to take advantage of them. Otherwise, you're going to be missing out on another great explosion, like when the internet came out, and most of us missed out on the internet when it exploded. Most of us missed out on the housing market when it exploded. We got to stop missing out on shit, right? We got to stop missing out on shit. One of the things that I'm monitoring right now. Wow, I've been monitoring it for like 2 years, but it was 2 years monitoring it outside of America, seeing how it was going outside of America. Now I'm seeing it hit America. It's still early. There's still the opportunity, right? Now is the time. Now is the time. If you got the personality for it and the determination to get it done. And y'all know me, I don't have to love a thing, be passionate about a thing to utilize a thing to increase my finances, right? So, I understand. about, yeah, I see y'all finally getting frustrated with Fred. I keep telling y'all to ignore the fuck out of him. He only keeps talking because y'all keep talking to him or talking about him. Ignore that fucker. He's an idiot. Damn, there was something else I was gonna say and I forgot. There was something else. Oh, let me remind you guys, December 5th. What, we're 15 days away? Yeah, this is a 30-day month. Yeah. December 5th, I will be on Truth Wanted. So the channel, the company that has the Atheist Experience, I will be on Truth Wanted December 5th, 7 p.m. Central Time Zone. I will be on Truth Wanted. If I know some of you guys are familiar with the organization, it's the largest atheist organization in the world. But I will be on Truth Wanted, and I look forward to you guys being there. Do not go and subscribe to them until I am on that show that day. This is self-promoting to say this part, because if you subscribe now, I will not get the credit. And even though the people at the Atheist Experience do monitor my show, and I don't care if they hear it, because I told Greg I am going to tell people not to subscribe to them until that day. So when I am on Truth Wanted, that's if you plan on subscribing to them. If you have not already, that is the day you subscribe to Truth Wanted, not before. Don't even go to Atheist Experience and subscribe to that yet. Well, I ain't gonna tell y'all not to do that. You might like that one. Some of y'all might already be subscribers to the Atheist Experience. But you know, you grind at something, and like I was talking about serendipity earlier, that there's no such thing as serendipity in the way that most people think about it, which they think about serendipity as a form of luck or chance. No, the people who receive the opportunities from the three princes of Serendip, they were already prepared. They had already grinded. They had already got themselves in position so that when one of the three princes or the prince of Serendip came upon them, saw that they were already ready, and then provided that extra that they needed to get over the hump. That's really what serendipity is. It's not luck or chance. It is putting yourself in a position so that when an opportunity comes, you can take advantage of that opportunity. So for all these years, these last 2.5 years that I started doing podcasts, all of that had to be done for the people in this organization to say, hey, look at this guy. We need to have this guy on our show. Let's start him out on our mid-level show. And if he does well on the mid-levels, then we'll bring him up to our top show, right? This is one of the reasons why Matt has such a huge following. This is one of the reasons why Justin has a huge following, is because they went through that process, right? Thinker already has a great following, but because she's done Truth Wanted a couple of times, she's growing up in that, she's leveling up in that, their process, her reach will get bigger. Christina from Thinkers, because Thinker has a panel of people that do the lives. Christina is growing from that. Oso is growing from that, because they were doing something that prepared them for the opportunity that this organization saw them and said, let's put you on. So when we talk about these, if you're not putting yourself in position, you will not get the opportunities. And we keep missing opportunities. You are missing opportunities right now, right? You're missing opportunities. It's just what it is. I'm going to do a vote. I would never, ever do this. And this actually goes against some of my ethos. all my people on Facebook, because I can understand he could be irritating. If you want Fred gone, put a 1 in the comment. If you want Fred to stay, put a 2 in the comment. I never really I've never done this before. But I am going to listen to the audience. If you want Fred blocked, put a 1 in the comment. If you want Fred to stay, put a 2 in the comment. And I'm going purely on the people who are on here. Because that's what a conversation that I had with someone yesterday. I ignore the shit out of it, but you have to listen to your audience. All I'm seeing is 1s. I ain't seen a 2 yet. Let me give it a sec. Ooh. Can you do this on Sheriff? I wonder if they have that. Do they have that? No, I don't see. No, they don't have that. Well, damn, Fred. Even the YouTubers are voting your ass off. Even the YouTubers want you gone. Fred, you have irritated people to the point where they don't want to see you, deal with you, because you make the same ignorant ass comments. You provide no value. You provide. See, here's what's funny. I don't know if I should tell y'all this, because this will be some of the things that I will talk about on December 14th. Podcasting is one of the things that people are missing out on. But when you do a podcast, there are certain elements to a podcast you have to pay attention to. There are some people who will be opposing to the podcast, but they bring value. They cause people to think. They give conversation. They allow for conversation. They make it where people want that person on there. There are some people and some of those people may even irritate you, but you still like when they come on there, because that irritation, that anger, that back and forth, it drums up comments. It creates entertainment. So even though there are people who come onto the show that I allow to talk on the show, I don't particularly care to talk to, and y'all be like, "Oh, Renz, you got great patience and stuff." I know that y'all like the conversation, so I will allow those people to come on the show, even though I prefer them not to. So you have to be able to balance between what antagonists come on the show that makes the show better. But then there comes a point where there are certain antagonists who come on the show, even in the comments, and they're actually making the show worse. You have to listen to your audience. You have to take yourself out of it, because there have been plenty of people. I was telling the person that I was coaching yesterday, there's plenty of people there are some people that I don't want to talk to that comes on, that I allow to come on the show. And I don't want to talk to that motherfucker. But I know y'all like it, so I let them come on. Most of them are TikTokers, so y'all ain't gonna know who I'm talking about. There's some I let come on sporadically because y'all like it, but I can't stand talking to them. But then here's the ones that don't. Then there's the ones that I see that y'all are just really, they're not bringing value to the show. It's more of an irritation and could cause the show to go down. So Fred, you, as they say on the TV shows, you have been voted off the island. Drop your rose, or whatever else those little competition shows say. But Fred, you are no longer welcomed here. You are formally being blocked. All your comments will be deleted, I think, from this video when I block you. But Fred is being blocked. So Fred is gone. And I will go ahead and This is a perfect example. This is why you need to be there. If you're interested in starting a podcast or you have a talent for a podcast, you have to be able to recognize these things. Prima is one of those people that I will allow to come on the show sporadically. I can't stand to talk to him. Not ever. I would personally block him, but he is not a pariah in the comments, even though he always starts out with the same stupid ass comment. But yeah, he blocked forever. Unless I unblock him. But Prima is one of those people that sporadically I will allow him to come up because I know some of y'all get a kick out of him, and he doesn't say the same stupid shit over and over again. He at least tries to vary his commentary. But his personality, as far as on here, in person, he might be all right. But his personality on here gets on my last fucking nerve. Exactly. And see, because I know people can listen to him for about 15 minutes is the reason why I only allow him to be on here for about 5 or 10 minutes. Whenever I do allow him. But I cannot talk to him because he's intellectually dishonest. But I know y'all like it. So I allow him from time to time to come on here. And yes, Greg, he got voted off the island. Because he brings no value. He brings no value. His value has actually diminished. Initially, Fred was an irritant that created conversation, but he has become a detriment to the channel, so he's gone. He's gone. Yep. Forever. He is blocked forever. Yeah. And I know Prima is I find Prima to be dishonest. But for 10, 15 minutes, y'all enjoy it. So one of those 9 things that you would want to do in 2026 is some of you have the talent and you have a subject matter where you should be starting a podcast. But when you start a podcast, unlike me, when I started this podcast, there was no end game of financial reward, right? Because if you remember, I wasn't doing this as a business when I first started. I started doing this for my kids. I didn't start this for y'all. This is for my kids. No, he will not return in 3 days. And even if he comes in under a different name, we will quickly recognize who he is and I'll block that motherfucker again. But if you're going to start a podcast today and you want to start it for a business sake, you need to already know what is the end result. What's the ROI on it? Because you're giving up a lot of time to do these things. This is why I will cut the time. That's why I cut the time for this, because there's another business that I'm getting involved in. And I will give it my time. Right. But if I was starting a podcast today, I would already have an end result, an end game in mind of how to make it economically worth it. A lot of y'all do have the talent and you have the ability to do the same thing, but you have to already know and you have to engineer the podcast to be that. Your podcast should be a commercial for your products, for your service. That's what your podcast should be, right? You build up your audience and then you get your results. You swing for the fences every now and then. Give, swing for the fences. Watch the pitch, swing for the fences. Take a base hit, take a double, take a triple, and then hit a home runs. So you have to be able to do that. And even though podcasting there's a lot of people who are doing it, you find your niche. You find your separator. That's why y'all need to sign up for the Eventbrite on December 14th. You need to sign up for it. And if you think podcast is the only thing I'm going to be talking about, you are severely mistaken. There are some other things. And AI will be a big part of it too. Mello.
How you doing, man?
How you doing, sir?
I'm all right.
Good. What you
trying to figure out what is... charger. I'm like, what is smoking in my car? This thing is super hot. What is this? Yo.
What's on your mind?
Start to check.
So what do you think about the conversation of
My bad. That's why I can't because I'm in my view, a lot of this stuff is kind of the same in a way. I know it's not the same, but I know they kind of like share some of that, like redemption and stuff like that, and basically trying to like have a moral compass. I feel like they try to have like a similar kind of stance. I think they have like Christian Hermeticism. I'm not quite sure. I didn't really get into it like that because I didn't really care enough to really find out. I read about it before. I seen that they rediscovered it, like basically coming out of like what's the guy name? The Greek guy.
Hermes?
Yeah, Hermes.
Right.
So that's what made me kind of even get into it. I was like, all right, let me see what this connected to, and how they try to connect this to Christianity. I don't know, but I was just like interested in it because somebody asked me yesterday. He was like, if you had a choice, would you keep Christianity or Islam? And I'm like, yeah. I said my first instinct is none, but it was like if I was forced to like pick one, I think Christianity can be easier. It's easier to manipulate to your will versus Islam. But,
Right. I understand that. But as far as Hermeticism is concerned, yeah, when Hermeticism first had its Renaissance, which happened right before the Renaissance, which pushed the Renaissance, it was actually separate from Christianity. It wasn't part of Christianity at all. It wasn't until later on, around the late 1800s, early 1900s, that Hermeticism started being melded with Christianity. And you had these mystic groups, and you had people like Madame Blavatsky and Aleister Crowley and all them kind of people. And then you did have some of your Wyatt and people like that who were incorporating it into their thought process. Napoleon Hill, all of those people. And then in the 60s, they had another revival. And then, of course, in more recent time, it's had a revival in Christianity. But true Hermeticism actually has absolutely nothing to do with Christianity and predates Christianity.
correct, since I've seen this coming from like a Greek origin, so I assume.
No, it doesn't have a Greek origin. It actually is more of a Eastern Mediterranean, Eastern Mesopotamian and Egyptian origin. Like none of them can lay a claim that they originated Hermetic thought, but you can pretty much find elements of it all over the world.
Hermes and Toph, ain't they like the same character basically? Like,
Well, they Hellenized thought into Hermes, and then yeah. So now the shit that Doriel wrote, as far as his Emerald Tablets, is a bunch of bullshit. Because Doriel is a con artist, so most of his stuff is bullshit. You don't have the 9 lords and all that kind of stuff in true Hermeticism. So if you're reading Doriel's Emerald Tablets, that's bullshit. It's more bullshit in it, more con artistry than it is the actual Hermeticism. He does hit the main points of Hermeticism, which is what you have to do when you're going to scam someone.
oh, so it's like Billy Carson pushing that, like.
Yeah. Yeah, but Billy Carson does push his Doriel's version of Hermeticism and the Emerald Tablets. He's completely, he doesn't separate the Corpus Hermeticum, which is closer to true Hermeticism, than Doriel's bullshit. And he ignores the fact that Doriel, his kids, his wife, well, not his kids, but his wife certainly came out and said that this motherfucker started this whole stuff as a con. But
That's crazy right there. I don't know how you escape your own life. That goof.
yeah, I mean, once you get a divorce and stuff, then those people who are on your team may not necessarily be on your team no more. But true Hermeticism just goes basically to the 7 Hermetic principles. There's deeper understandings concerning it. People added similarities. What people did was they saw similarities in some of the laws to their religion or their culture, and then they kind of pushed the information in that direction because it made it easier for them to explain it to those people at that time frame. So when you're sifting through it, you have to do it just like the Bible. You have to say, okay, what's the politics and the culture that's talking about this? So how much of it is cultural based? How much of it is political based? So that you can strip those parts out of it and just see and go back further to just the purity of it. Because even the Egyptian versions of Hermeticism, it encompasses some of their Egyptian culture and deities. Like Thoth or Tahuti ain't got shit to do with Hermeticism in truth. They added him to the ideas of it because he was their god of wisdom, their god of science, and their scribe. And that's why Hermes was merged with him under the Ptolemies for the same reason, because it matches what they do. It matches Hermes enough that they Hellenized the whole thing. So what I do is look beyond that to get down to just the core principles of it and how those core principles are applied to everything in our known universe.
I got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Without all that mystic shit.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's just like the mysticism part is just
Yeah, there's no mysticism. There's truly no mysticism in the Hermetic principles. All right, these universal laws do not have any mysticism in them. Now, the law of mentalism when it starts talking about the all and what the all is and how the all functions and all that stuff, that's when it gets into mysticism about that. That's just theoretical bullshit that people have to create because they believe in a God. But when you take that portion out of the 7 laws, then you can apply the law of mentalism just unto yourself and without some overlord that's looking over you. This is why even when I recommend people read the Kabbalion, I tell them the part about the all, you can skip it. Go ahead, but I would read it anyway. But when you read it, recognize that this is invoking religion. Even though you're still not supposed, even though it still doesn't say that you're supposed to worship the all. There's no worship to be done. It's just an understanding that the entire universe exists in the mind of the all. And that the all is just, and all of this is just the thought of the all. I tell people that just helps you to understand that your universe is your mental creation. And that's it. But the all existing, no, there's no evidence of all existing. That's just a theory of Hermetics because people invoked religion in it because that's what they were used to. That's what they know.
Can I ask you something? So that thought process, right, of being, let's say, existing in the thought of the mind of a deity, right? Did that start with that, or is that an older concept?
I mean, other civilizations, there are a few civilizations that had a similar type of mindset, but there's very few, incredibly few. Like most had a prime deity that created everything, and that deity was anthropomorphized, meaning that they were given human qualities. They had bodies, even if the body was celestial, but it's very rare to find one that had the concept of just existing in the mind of the all. That's something that developed as secularism grew from the time frame of the Egyptians. So like the Egyptians had a concept of the Ogdode. So this is one of the rare ones. For the earlier Egyptian writings talks about the Ogdode, and the Ogdode was just an intelligent mind that existed, and out of that intelligent mind, the matter universe was formed, right? So the matter universe is formed out of the intelligent mind of the Ogdode that is broken up into 4 main sections, and each section has is all then divided by a masculine and a feminine. And from that 16 concepts, the matter form universe was created by manifesting the cosmic egg, which Ra was then birthed into the matter form as the cosmic egg, as the physical manifestation of the all. So of the octave. So they took the concept of existing in the mind of the all, and then they boxed it in with a physical being in this material universe as Ra. And well, Ra and Apophis, because they had to have the duality of the evil. So Apophis is the evil, the darkness. So, and then they made the darkness into a big ass serpent, you know, or dragon. So it started out that way, but then they changed it as man had to make gods more malleable to themselves.
Yeah, and I think they were kind of went wrong. In my opinion, it's like, why would you box in a god, your deity, like limit your own deities? It's crazy thought to me. I mean, like, you know, it's supposed to be, you're supposed to be a guy. Like, why? And the fact that you would even have emotions,
yeah,
any human can offend you.
Yeah. Come on. And now, see, the other rare one would be the writings of Lao Tzu for Taoism. Now, some of the additional writings of Taoism kind of go off track, but the initial writings that are attributed to Lao Tzu, as far as his explanation of the way would be that the mental concept of the all, that the way is just the universal forces of nature. And the idea is for you to get into the flow of the way, which is following the 7 Hermetic laws. You are able to work with that natural forces of the universe so that you can manifest whatever it is that you desire, you know, whatever it is that you're willing to go through the process to obtain. So pure Taoism from Lao Tzu follows that pathway. Later on writings of Taoism from other Taoist Buddhas kind of went off track. You know, the same thing with Buddha. They went off track. Siddhartha started out good, but then it went off track.
It's basically the telephone game every generation. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you're not gonna get the same story. They're gonna change it. Like, it's obvious. Like, even modern, something I ain't gonna say it's not too modern, but even your King James Bible, you know what I mean? It's like
King James is fucked up all around.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I think it was like every like 80 or 100 years, they're like changing something or doing something. Like, it's like constant. I don't think any religion is kind of the same as when it, or spiritual system is the same as when it started. You know what I mean? Like,
none of them are. If I started a religious system today, the purity that I was started in, as it develops followers, as it develops leaders, as those leaders start to have their own interpretations, 200 years later, it would not be close. It would have similarities, but it wouldn't be the same thing that I was doing. So, that can be applied to every religion. If there was a preacher named Yeshua running around, it is absolutely impossible that what people claim today is the teachings of Yeshua would be the same as what the actual teachings were. Because too many hands not been put in the pot. Then I added salt and sugar and spice and cayenne pepper here and there. Then I added all kind of shit to the pot. So it don't even taste like the same thing. And so that's what you'll get. That's what you get with anything like that. Hell, look at America. Can't even do that with a government. Them motherfuckers fought because they felt like they were being overtaxed with tea. We tax like a motherfucker right now.
See, I'm telling you, I stopped screaming at that. Since I found out, I'm like, this country started over wars over taxes, man. I'm getting nickel and dime to death, yo. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, so that's the natural flow of humanity. The natural flow of humanity is we'll start with something, it'll change, as more and more people involve themselves in it. Then there'll be a revival, and then it'll change back again to some other bullshit until it's just done away with because something new comes along. And the new thing is really just a revival of something that's really fucking old that somebody rediscovered and tried to bring it in its purest form. And then that is the new thing until it goes through the same cycle. So we keep doing the same thing over and over again.
I was about to say one of the Hermetic things. So above, and so below, and how many times do we get that reiterated throughout time?
Yeah, and 99% of the people don't even really know what that means. They're looking at it from some type of cultural or religious perspective, right? But it is simply whatever you truly are on the inside, whatever you truly think is what will be shown on the outside. It's really that simple. There are no ancestors or gods that are living in some spiritual realm that you can pray to, or you can do a ritual and then they affect your life today. Because all of it is magic. So whether you're using the magic of prayer or you're using the magic of ancestral worship, there's no deity or beings or ancestors that can come down and say, well, I'm going to move this person into falling in love with you, or this person is not going to, or this person or this opportunity is going to. There's no magic shit that some being or some consciousness is doing something with your life. But what often happens is that when people, they pray or they meditate or they do some type of ritual, that they are asking for some outside force to come and do something. If you really got down into the nuts and bolts of the cause and effects, then all you see is that person utilize that prayer, that ritual, just galvanize that person to go and take some actions to bring about whatever it is that they were actually trying to manifest. So it all came from the inside. None of it came from the outside. So as above, so below is not an application to outside forces. It's really going back to the purity of meditation. And the purity of meditation is meditating inward, self-discovery, and self-change if necessary. And that's what meditation is. Not some, let me sit there and let me get, my ancestors to come and help me do this, or, for some God for me to open my third eye and I can see the spiritual realm so that I know how to function in this matter world. No, it's go inside your damn self, figure out what you need to change, figure out what you need to put more energy towards, find out what your truth is, and then manifest that thing by your actions. That's it. And then when you start moving in a certain direction, it'll put you in a position where others who have a similar flow of energy, a similar frequency, will be attracted to you. And because they have that similar energy, we see how things like attracts like. And when you are moving in an energy that says that I want to open up this business, or I want to have this type of relationship, or I want to improve my health, you attract other people who have the same frequency. And then that emboldening you to go do it some more. And then people say, oh, and people think, oh, my prayers were answered. No, motherfucker, you did everything. You brought all of that. And then other people felt that energy and they joined in with you and y'all achieved it together. It was all you, not them. And that person who came and was attracted to you, they did the same shit. And it's with them. It was their energy that brought about that. Y'all just wind up coming into a shared universe temporarily to bring that thing into reality. That's it. There's no God shit. There's no ancestral shit. There's none of that. All the witchcraft in the world won't do it. They ain't doing nothing. It's you.
I literally had that conversation 2 days ago, man. So I told you I'd be doing sometimes. You probably know that's just fine, but be debunking people and stuff for a lot of this crazy stuff. And but the one guy hopped in and he was basically trying to. He was like, oh, "Y'all sound like a bunch of white boys. Y'all being atheists, all this." He's trying to push spirituality on us, and voodoo on us, right? And I'm just like,
see, they would have lost me with the whole white boy shit, because your mind cannot be elevated into a higher vibration if you still think that race actually exists, and that there's a culture that says this is white culture, this is black culture, this is whatever culture that you have to adhere to. I'm not saying that those cultures don't exist, but that you have to adhere to it if you look like them. That's stupid. That's dumb. Yeah,
I couldn't believe it, man, because like literally, you be up here on these panels debunking pretendians with us, and not you, but I'm talking about the guy, and but you're still pushing. It's like this is pseudo, stuff. Like it's not real. And it's like I had to basically get into. I'm like, bro, how many ceremonies, how many rituals and pendants and trinkets that we wore when the colonizers came to take our stuff? Did it save us? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think so. So
no.
Like, why would I even waste my time with something? But you know what? It's your weak magic. Why would I waste my time with your weak magic? It's literally my thought process.
You shouldn't. That's why that shit don't work. What would have worked was fighting them motherfuckers. What would have worked was, I mean, and the thing about it is, there's no way that the Dahomey, for their culture, they were fighting their war against other tribes. So getting superior weapons, for them, it was good. They didn't care initially what happened to their enemies. Who cares what happens to your enemies? Most people don't back then, right? And so when they were participating in that, it wasn't like they was doing it for, because they were submitting themselves. They went, they whooped somebody's ass, like the Wayuda people. They whooped their ass and they sold them for guns. And they didn't care what happened to them. Had nothing to do with race, had nothing to do with superiority as far as white superiority. It was, this is my tribe, this is my nation, and we're trying to maintain our nation. So we need guns. That will help us to maintain our nation. So it was just political. And the ones who were sold into slavery, it was like, well, shit, we lost. We're POWs. This is what happens to POWs. So they weren't saying that, oh, we are united, because you got people from all over, different tribes from all over Africa coming over to the Americas, whether it's in the Caribbean or South America or North America. They're coming over. They're different. They're not looking at each other as brothers. They're looking at each other as, you a POW from Wayuda, you a POW who's Yoruba. I don't know you, motherfucker.
Because they did that on purpose. They mixed us up. They put this tribe here or this tribe because the rebellion and stuff. They didn't want to.
Of course.
They couldn't put a bunch of the same people,
of course,
the same language in the same area.
Of course not. That don't make sense. Why would you do that? Why would you set up your own demise? That don't make sense. Now, generations start to go by and people forget about their ancestral tribes. And then they started, because you've created this new tribe that's called Black, or Negro. You created this new tribe called Negro. And so people, after a couple of generations, start seeing themselves as a unified tribe or a similar tribe, but they're under this oppressive state where they don't see how they can be freed until you start getting, but you do get people who do. Like, most people don't know, and I was going to publish this video later on today. Most people don't know that it wasn't Lincoln who was the driver for freeing the slaves out of the South. It was the fact that over 500,000 slaves ran away and came into the North. Lincoln originally wanted to send them back, but some of his generals was like, hell no. They disobeyed his orders, and a lot of them joined the Union Army. And so they was like, well, after a while, Lincoln was like, well, fuck it. I'll free the ones who are in the rebellious states. He didn't free all the slaves, just the one in the rebellious states.
Yeah, no, he said if he could save the Union without freeing a single slave, like, he wouldn't free a single slave. Like that's not what it is. It's really about politics and money and where the money was going that truly worked the end of slavery in here in America. It's like, people just want control of other people's stuff, and they saw that the South was
but the little pretendians and then some of the colonized Africans, they think that black people in North America had nothing to do with their freedom, and that's a bunch of bullshit. We initiated our freedom. We gave them no choice. Our ancestors gave them no choice but to grant some level of freedom, at least the freedom out of the slavery. And then our ancestors gave them no choice but to get rid of Jim Crow. So this whole idea of our ancestors just sit back and took it is some bullshit. A lot of them did, but that's in every situation. Most of the colonists didn't want to separate from England. They would have been perfectly fine staying under England. But it is always the few. What?
You ever read the Black Jacobins? Am I saying this right? It's about the Haitian Revolution.
Oh, I don't know that Black Jacobs. I don't know that term, but I do know about the Haitian Revolution.
So that's basically what they had to do. Some of them parts, and when they were starting the maroon colonies out, basically people that was like, I want to stay with the French. They had to get rid of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. What was it, Toussaint? He was like, "Oh, you don't want to join us? Yes. I kill your ass too. You will die just like the rest of them."
Yeah.
Right. But most revolutions start because of few people. It's always the few that start something. Even when things that we look at that is evil. Most Germans were not part of the Nazi Party. But because they had gained the military power and government power, they fell under them, and then they just had to do whatever the hell they told them to do, which is why most of them are embarrassed as hell. Like if you meet the older ones, they are embarrassed that they participated, that they served. Yeah.
They talk about it. They talk about even how it fractured their communities, because basically everybody, kind of was becoming spies on everybody. So people wouldn't even talk to nobody anymore, and it just basically fractured their social lives during that time too, coming out of it.
Yeah. But look here, dude, I've been on here for 3 hours and 47 minutes. I'm starting to get hangry. Huh?
I already thought you was gonna get off like 15 minutes ago. Honestly, I was waiting for you to say it.
Well, you got on a few minutes before the 3 hours and 30 minute mark. So, I'll let you get on here.
I appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate you, man. Have a good one. So as a final reminder, well, not final. Don't forget December 5th, I will be on Truth Wanted. So I look forward to you guys being there. Don't forget to go ahead and sign up for the cruise. If you haven't already, you need to sign up for the damn cruise. Right? I ain't gonna tell y'all again, but I am. I'm gonna tell you a whole bunch of times until I know that the boat is full. Then I'll stop talking about it and then just brag about it. If you are in a position, and Isaac, you need to sign up for the because I'm going to use you as an example. Well, let me ask your permission first. Isaac, do you mind that if I use part of the conversation that you and I had about a month ago as part of, because what we talked about is one of those 9 things, 9 businesses you need to start in 2026 to increase your income, even if it's at a hustle level so that you have investment money. Isaac, give me your permission to use part of our conversation. What cruise? So on October 31st of 2026, there is a ship that is leaving out of the port of New Orleans, the Carnival Cruise Line Valor, on a 5-day journey, like Gilligan's Island, but on a 5-day journey and the main place that we are looking to go towards is when it goes to the Yucatan Peninsula, we're going to Cenote, and we're going to do the Cenote and Chichen Itza tour. Which is a pyramid and a whole bunch of other stuff that they got there. On the 2 days at sea, we will have meetups while we're at sea. to have conversations and to talk about subject matters. Okay, appreciate it, Isaac. Now y'all see Isaac gave me the thumbs up. So he can't sue me. He can't be mad at me. Even though I put him in a pressure cooker in order for him to say yes. But you can go to my Facebook page and there's a featured comment and a featured event that will allow for you to see the information concerning the cruise that we'll be taking next year. Right. Oh, see, he did it twice. He did it twice. Yes, I manipulated him to make sure that he said yes. Otherwise, he looked like a bad guy. So anyway, now Isaac good to go. So anyway, yeah. So that's the cruise that we're going to be taking. So we got December 5th is Truth Wanted. December 14th is the seminar, and then with the cruise. That's all we have on the calendar thus far. There will be some other things that's added. I got to call that dude. There are going to be some other things that'll be added throughout the year. Appreciate it. And of course, you guys know I always let you know when I'm doing some traveling. So if you're in my travels, if we can meet up, we can. It'd be great. Yeah, Truth Wanted. It's an atheist show podcast, one of the largest podcasts in the atheist community. They have larger shows, but they got to start me out on the mid-level card. I'm the mid-level card. Intercontinental. I'm become the Intercontinental champion, mid-level. So anyway, wrestling thing. Thank you everybody who supports the channel by being members. You know that members and subscription holders and super fans get extra videos. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for your support of the channel. So those who subscribe, thank you guys very much. I appreciate that. Who subscribe to the channels and those who comment and share. And we had our first person to ever get banned on one of my channels, blocked on one of my channels. So it's weird, but hey, it is what it is. Y'all voted Fred off the island, so we will not see comments from Fred again. And now I blocked him on live. I wonder, does that block him on regular Facebook? We'll find out, because I'm gonna go to my regular Facebook and I'm gonna see if he's still there on regular Facebook and block his ass again. All right. But I really want you guys to research the Hermetic principles, but not from the bullshit of some type of deity, but just how you can utilize that to better how you function in this world. Right. Okay, I see. And this is kind of stuff I like to see. Isaac he's still working on that idea, trying to create an ecosystem around the original idea. Good. All right. Because I will hold your ass accountable and talk shit about you. So yeah, so y'all have a great day, and always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations. And we are out for today. I'll see you guys on Tuesday, because today is Thursday.